There are so many reasons to buy your next new car from A.J. Doman Chevrolet, but don't take our word on it. Hear what our customers have to say.
Recently, I purchased my fourth vehicle from A.J. Doman Chevrolet. Why? Because they build relationships here.
Their service team has kept my vehicles running like new, and their sales team has done things for me that I never expected from a car dealership.
A.J. Doman Chevrolet, serving the area for over 38 years, at the foot of the Morgan City Bridge in Berwick.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Facebook, YouTube coverage, and we look back at the year 2024. More news in the month of September. Welcome back to Bayou Time. I'm Martin Foss, joined by the parish president of Terrebonne Parish, Mr. Jason Bergeron, who is straight off his adventure, Raccoon City, turning the power out here in Terrebonne Parish. And I got to tell you, been on this news desk for 40 years. Mr. Parish President, after I guess about 50,000 or so hits on Facebook or whatever, I guess it takes a raccoon sometimes to get the attention of what's going on with the power plant and everything else, but y'all been pretty busy, haven't you?
Yes, sir. You know, we're calling him Rally the Raccoon. Yeah. And if it rallies funding for us with FEMA, you know, it's a lot of people have trouble understanding, you know, and I even had a conversation on our way over here about, you know, we had to sue our insurance company and we didn't get that result till the beginning of this year. So not until that process was finished with insurance did FEMA then start engaging about covering that gap. You know, we had $65 million worth of coverage pre-IDA. That's all the insurance company would give us. That's all the market would allow. Just the power plant in itself is $170 million. And that's a quote we have from the engineer that we got at the beginning of this year also. So, you know, the fact that FEMA's allocating funding, $65 million to start and another $105 that they're going to hopefully obligate soon, they know the need of what we need for a power plant.
Yeah. Let's do this. I'm going to get Jason in the control room. Let's roll in some of the event that took place. The parish president went straight to Facebook and all. Let's roll that in.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Jason Bergeron, parish president out here at the power plant. Had to put my eyes on it myself, and I can tell you that I saw a raccoon barely breathing, second raccoon in just as many weeks. It could have been worse, but we got it turned back on, and hopefully we deal with less of these issues as we go. We're working through over 800 IDA-related power issues that we're going to get fixed. And I guarantee you we're going to get to the bottom of this.
And you made some good points. You're dealing with all these events, and the raccoons want to just get on top of all that. Like you don't have enough problems, but I mean, what did you see when you walked in?
So, you know, I got to, I was at the house, power went out, and I looked at my wife and I was like, I'm going to power plant. I just, you know, I feel like I need to put my eyes and hands on it. And a part of it too is to show support of our team, because when I get there, you know, we had 6-8 guys that were working on the issue. And, you know, something as simple, the comparison I like to make is a GFC outlet. It gets tripped. You got to figure out why it got tripped and is it safe to turn everything back on. And so through walking through our substations, we did a pass of the first one, didn't see anything, went to the substation right there to the right of the entrance, and not even, you know, 2 minutes in there, come across a raccoon who you could tell had just been shocked, was still barely breathing. Mm-hmm. And so with that, it's, you know, there's a joke around it. We share the same pictures of animals that are dying that's causing outages. And it just so happened to be 2 raccoons in 2 weeks. And to know that, I do believe it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. You know, it's after everything else and all the other outages that are going on. People question our infrastructure and they question, you know, what have we done post IDA? And so, you know, we're doing 847 system-wide line repairs in our system because of IDA. And we're just getting that funding now. And it's frustrating. And we understand that. None of us want to be dealing with a raccoon on Sunday night at 12:30, especially after an LSU loss, you know?
Now, like you were saying, we could joke a little bit. It maybe should have happened in the fourth quarter.
Well, I tell you what, I appreciated that. But I hate it. It's frustrating.
Way, yeah.
You know, I lost power both times.
What draws that? Any idea what draws raccoons? Is it the energy field, or are they just mischievous and trying to get in there and cause some havoc?
So having conversations with some of our departments in a meeting this morning, they had to harden some cables at the transportation station for garbage because the raccoons were eating through the cable. You know, so When you look at
their teeth, maybe?
who knows? Just no different than probably a rat eating in a attic, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at, and of course I like to do research, I like to have numbers. In 2019, in energy system, they had 22,000 outages related to about 2,000 animals. So it's a common thing, but again, it's the animal this time, the animal the time before, but before that, it was 18 outages with 18 different reasons, which is, we implemented the root cause analysis. Let's understand why this is happening. If it's something like a ground wire, do we need to do an upgrade of ground wires across the platform, right? Across everything we have? What preventive maintenance items can we do that we're not doing now? But we got to get these repairs made post-Ida. Again, 847 should be finished around the beginning of January. And to me, that puts us in a better place. And past that, whether the power plant, whether we have temporary generators or the power plant running or rebuilding the power plant, power is different than what it used to be. You generate it and use it. Now you generate it, you put it into a system, and you get power out of that system. And so as we go through and continue to use, the temporary generators are being paid for with FEMA. That is something they recognize as a need that helps us not have rolling blackouts. Whenever the system calls for more power, we're getting it from those generators right now.
So in closing, Rally the Raccoon gets you 50,000 hits on Facebook and still climbing.
Still climbing, but my goal is for us to get that 170 million for our power plant.
Yeah, and send that to FEMA, right?
And get our resiliency, up and continue to rebuild and do everything we can so that our residents, there's one less issue that they can hopefully deal with.
So if Rally helped get the word across to FEMA, Rally the Raccoon did a good job.
He did.
Yeah.
And so hopefully we don't have to deal with him again or any of his friends or family.
Yeah, the doors will be tighter, right? I appreciate you coming. At least we can laugh with some of this stuff, but it is serious, but every now and then a little chuckles.
Yeah, it's very serious to me. And the big thing I want to make sure people understand is that we got some hardworking people at the parish, and they don't want to deal with this either.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. All right, Martin Foss here. We've been through it before. We've stayed together. We've made it through. And we are going to bring you storm coverage. Let me just tell you at this point, all right? And what I'm going to show you is something. I was hoping that this center of circulation would be closer to land, because then these sectors of the storm tend to keep it pulling westward. However, as far as I can tell, there's a definite center of circulation that is taking place right under the stick at this location. Now, I've moved the stick along to really western St. Mary, somewhere in that vicinity. But what's happening now, this center of circulation is moving in this direction. At one point, it's going to make a turn. How far of a turn it makes will determine where we end up here. What's the meetings like this morning? What are we looking at? What do y'all think?
Well, it's definitely tracked a little more east. We've got an update coming out at 10 o'clock. What I've seen is the eye over Lafayette right now, maybe a little bit east or west of that. But again, the updates will come out at 10 o'clock to have more information. We're going to declare a state of emergency, Terrell Parish. And we're going to have more updates after the 1:30 call we have with GOSEP about what evacuations and, any other items that we normally cover, what that's going to look like.
Yeah. Sheriff, I've had you on the desk quite a bit over the years, and, the callers that we've had this morning, I can't really, I don't ever go by what the National Weather Service says. If they say it's a 1, I say prepare for a 2 or 3.
That's exactly our plan. I said that this morning. I said if it's a 1, we're going to be prepared for a 2. I have my officers effective Wednesday morning, full force, normal hurricane schedule where I'm gonna have massive amounts of officers out there. Of course, I've talked to the levee district, some of the gates, roller gates. We use that as natural barriers so we can monitor south of the Morganza for protecting people's property, and we're going to be doing that officially Wednesday morning. Of course, there's going to be we're going to have a lot more out there tonight and tomorrow because we anticipate people kind of getting prepared. So we're going to have a little bit more manpower out there tonight, but more importantly, Wednesday we're going to be out in full force until further notice, until this thing passes and we get back to normal.
People were asking me all morning, what you think the surge will be? I said, well, that's a loaded question. I mean, we don't even know where the high's going to go across, but plan for 8, is that something good, I should say? Plan for 8? Or am I off?
No, I mean, I think that's extremely reasonable depending on, the speed and location of the storm. It looks like it's going to get out of here quick, which is good in terms of storm surge. How much time it has to build up, the direction that it's coming from is all going to affect the surge. I usually get more concerned with those storms that kind of pass across us where we're building up storm surge for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Now, we have had a lot of rain and a lot of high water here recently, which is not good. But yeah, I think you got to prepare for the worst, especially if you're in a low-lying area.
Back, we got the mayor, Kevin Claymont of Thibodaux, Louisiana. And Mayor, how are you doing today?
Doing fine, Martin. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good, but I bet y'all busy. I talked to the police chief a while ago, and said y'all got it. Y'all always have a quiet confidence about y'all, but hey, we've all been through it. So what's happening in Thibodaux? Give us an update.
Well, I just looked. I'm watching Bruce Katz as we speak, and I just mentioned to my secretary, it looked like it shifted directly over the city of Thibodaux with this latest update, the 4 o'clock update. The upper level low, as they call it, in the Gulf, that's pushing things high and more to the right. So I think this one is playing tricks on everybody, to be honest with you. The good news is it doesn't look like it's as intensifying or it's on a track to intensify as it keeps moving. It's going to get to a 1, maybe a 2 they're talking about.
It is moving northeast, which is the stick. So if it rides that stick, it's going to go in at St. Mary and Terrebonne Parish. If it crosses over the stick, then, of course, all of Lafourche is in it. But if it rides where it is now, it will be a Terrebonne, St. Mary, Thibodaux landfall. It won't landfall in Thibodaux, of course, but it'll go right over you.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what the National Hurricane Center, their black line when they have all the colored lines and paths, that's still the Hurricane Center's prediction where it's going to go there. Everybody else has it drifting east, and all the newscasters and forecasters and all our information says it's going to drift east. So once again, we plan for the worst. We anticipate for the worst. We hope for the best.
We're so used to talking about if they're hitting, south, east, and coming up that way. It's a whole different dynamic. Even the jutting out of Terrebonne Parish is a different dynamic. So it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, and you look at, too, on the west side of the parish, we have a lot of marsh between where Terrebonne Parish starts and these levee systems. Chaffalay has been building some land, so the hydrology changes every few months because there's more land laid out, especially on that Chaffalay with the west side of the parish. So we also have the Baishane gate closed. I don't think we've ever gone through a hurricane where that gate was closed, that barge was closed. So all these factors are going to matter and make a difference because it's less water that should make it into the system.
Yeah, when this thing rides up west of us, we get all this junk. We get the dirty side. So remember, east is the beast, west is best. So whoever is going to get this side, Lafayette, maybe Baton Rouge, look how it's getting just knocked out by this water vapor. I'm going to go to the water vapor map. This is going to tell us a little more. Watch this area right here in the northwestern quadrant. It's getting sheared. All right, so if you're on this side, when that eye comes on shore, if you're on this side, you're not going to get nearly as much as you're going to get on the northeast quadrant. The northeast quadrant is blowing and going. The northwest side is getting sheared. Let me go to the lower water vapor, and let's check it out. Well, you can see it really good right here. Watch it all, the cool air being brought in. It is tearing apart that northwestern side of this storm. I want to go right to Dwayne Dupre, who's our camera photog out there. He's in Pointe-au-Chien right now, one of our mobile units. And Dwayne, how are things over there? I know Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office, State Police out there, but water's coming up quick, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually all around me where I'm parked right now, Martin.
I talked to Barry this morning, and, you know, Barry just chipper like he always is. I talked to Todd Fungy also, but this is... Dwayne, how much further down can you get there? Is the statue still there? Right off the...
I can't see it. Where I'm at right now, there's water on the road in front of me. This little vehicle is going to sink.
Kim Chauvin is in the house. We have Brian Pledger. We have Clayton Voisin, all council people in Terrebonne Parish, and game day. Yeah, I know you all are busy out there. Ladies first. Kim, we'll start with you. What are you seeing in your district, and give me your thoughts right now.
In Cocodrie, you know, past the gates, we see all the water coming up at this point.
While you're there, let's go to Cocodrie. There's Cocodrie right there.
We've already seen the water, you know, making its way in. All of the gates are now closed and on lockdown, and you know, which is a good thing. I think everyone in Zone 1 in Cocodrie, at least, you know, has gotten out due to safety reasons.
My thing to everybody here in Terrebonne Parish would be, let's be safe. Let's make sure that we're taking safety as the #1 priority at this point, and that's for life and health.
Look at Pointe-au-Chien while we're speaking. We got cameras all over the place. So we got mounted cameras we put up for years on the floodgates. We got HTV hurricane tracking vehicle.
Really?
We got a couple of them out there. Look right here. We got now sometimes they freeze, but we get a pretty good idea. This one's in Cocodrie. And so, Clayton, let me come to you. What about your area? What's your main concern?
So obviously, rain, flooding, of course, is always an issue in the Old Shire, Broadmoor, Bayou Cane area, right? You know, with this storm, we at the point now where the work's done. Now we're going to see what happens with this storm. A couple of the big determining factors, obviously, is a couple of mile difference one way or the other with the eye can have a big effect on how much we are affected. And then the most important thing, I believe, is the speed of the hurricane. You know, if this thing speeds up, you know, 15 miles per hour or something like that, gets in, gets out, that's much more beneficial to us as a parish than earlier when it was 5 miles per hour.
It's at 13 right now.
13, that's really good, right?
Yeah, it's at 13, so I just was looking at the, Brian, let me ask you, because when you were down, and Jay, let me go to this shot to let the audience just see to get their eye on it. Now go to the official site where they updated where it's going to hit. I want to see if we're matching, because it's running out of real estate. So if it makes a shift, you know, this thing would have to go all the way here to get to Grand Isle, and it just moves ever so slowly under the stick. So, you know, I'm thinking somewhere. So there's the official. It's the same spot we have the stick. We haven't moved the stick in 2 days. It's the same exact area. Of course, like Clayton just said, if it jogs 5 miles one way, that's a big difference between somebody getting 10 to 15 or 3 to 5 inches of rain because of the tightness of the bands on that northeastern quadrant. Now, this is the sector right here that you got to watch for.
That's where the heaviest winds and rains that I just read about that they measured offshore.
Okay, and I was fixing, so what was the heaviest rain?
The heaviest winds, the heaviest winds that were reported, they showed 112 peak gusts, sustained winds at 92 miles an hour.
Okay, that's right here. That's
where that is.
Yeah, so that is going to move up, and that's going to split probably Morgan City and Houma.
That's right. That's the 30 to 35 miles. That center looks a little wider now. In fact,
let me go to. I want to go to another shot, and even this one. Watch the end of it. Look, boom! Look at those scarlets in there.
Yep.
That's terrifying to me. I remember that with several storms. You don't want that.
No.
And then watch at the end.
It comes back together.
We still got a lot of reds. Now we still got a lot of reds, but not, so look at Grand Isle. We're gonna, what the mayor didn't want was this.
Mm-hmm.
This quadrant. Watch this quadrant come up, and that's where they're getting. They're getting
92.
112 and 92 sustained.
92 sustained. 112.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
that's what we talked about, 90 to 100 mile an hour winds, and that's what we're seeing offshore right now.
So you got three parish presidents that are going, oh, come on, and that's, St. Mary Parish, Terrebonne, and Lafourche.
Yep. All three of them, not that they wanted to go to their brothers' parishes. They just don't want to see that eye wall, that northeastern.
They may all see it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
They may all see it. And then New Orleans is going to see some punch, but hopefully by the time it gets to New Orleans, it's continued to be knocked on its butt right now, because it's
to deteriorate that northeastern side.
But we'll see. I mean, hopeful thinking at this point, but it's still going to have a wallop to it.
Oh yeah, we're going to feel it.
And you see how those feeder bands are spreading out,
getting wider,
and whenever feeder bands start spreading out, it means it's not wrapping tightly as it used to. Something's shearing it apart.
Right.
So that's what's happening here.
You can see it right underneath the stick, Martin.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Directly underneath the stick.
So
right.
I have to change the
there.
color. I'm going to have to change the color of the circle.
Yeah. But it's
yeah, and I'm
you
going
can
to
see it 3, 2, 1. There it is.
That's white. I'm going to move. Let me take that out. Let me do this again. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to re-identify it.
There. Yep.
There she is.
There it is. And it looks like it's having to readjust from that wind shear.
I think it moved.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really do think it moved, because at one point it was poking its head out on the other side.
Right. And
we have Mr. Gordon Dove, the former parish president of Terrebonne, CPRA chair, and he's on the cabinet for the governor. Gordy, me and Keith Whiteside are here. How are you, sir?
Good, Martin. Good. Just we had the unified commands, and just like everybody else, looking at which direction going. What surface did I go landfall? It could be hitting landfall here pretty quick.
Yeah, we have. We've been tracking it. This is one schizophrenic hurricane, Gordy. It's the eye was on the western side. The eye went under the stick, poked its head out on the eastern side. Now it's back a little more to the western side. It really looks like most of the landfall will be St. Mary, but it's going to have part of that eye wall will go up western Terrebonne Parish, and with the angle will either slightly hit Houma, miss Houma. We don't know yet, but is that what you're seeing?
Yes, and it was right. It's moving. It speeded up too, which is good. And that's what it looks like. It looks like it's going to hit Vermilion Bay or a little bit to the east of Vermilion Bay.
Hey, Mayor.
Yes.
Hey, Martin False and Keith Whiteside, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, tell us what's happening right now in Morgan City, because it's like y'all, I see the camera shaking pretty good on the wall, but let me get in your own words what's happening right now in Morgan City.
Yeah, the wind's up, it's probably about 50 miles an hour right now. And within the next 30 minutes, it's supposed to be up to hurricane strength. I mean, there's gusts of hurricane strength. I'm just talking about steady wind. This is going to go on, through the night, so it's going to be pretty long duration here. But we good right now. We got a couple little power outages, localized power outages. But other than that, we're okay right now. But we haven't hit the hard stuff yet.
Yeah, it looks like the hard stuff is right upon you. And how many minutes they said before that? It looks like the northern, really that big, thick eye wall on the north side is about to get into you, and then that's going to go over you for a while. But how long did they say before you think you'll get that? In short order, it looks.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then y'all look like y'all had a little lull for a second because y'all were in between a feeder band, but then I'm sure it's starting to pick up right now, isn't it?
It is. I'm actually over by the lake, and there's about 4 foot of swells in the lake.
Okay.
So
yeah.
It's pretty big. Yeah.
Now, of course, I think, Mayor, that eye wall is going to go over Morgan City. It's going to go over Houma. We're going to get the eastern part of the eye wall. It's going to go over Dulac. It's going to go over Thibodaux, Chack Bay, Pankerville, Napoleonville, Donaldsonville, all those areas. But so you're going to be a pretty good indicator of what you're actually going through. And any indication right now, the peak winds, we're looking at definitely hurricane strength winds you're about to get, but we don't know how this thing reacted to the high pressure as it was going on land. But it was 90 at some point. So are you saying it's going to be about 75?
Well, constant, but they're telling me we're going to have gusts above 90.
Yeah.
So the gusts are what does the damage. When those gusts come, they start snapping trees.
Yeah.
So I rode around a little bit, and I'm over by the lake right now, and I'm going to ride a little bit more. I have a really big truck, so I'm taking my time with it. But I can feel it in the truck, shaking the truck.
Yeah.
We definitely have hurricane force winds, no doubt.
Yeah.
How long it's going to be like that? I would have to say a few hours for sure. But I don't know. I see a lot of limbs down. I see a lot of leaves and debris. It seems like the rain has slacked off, which is good that the pumps catch up. But it's my understanding it's about to really start power raining here in a few minutes.
Yeah, we can see it on the radar, and then you're going to be over the eye's going to be over you, and then so you'll get a break there. But then, Jay, pull out on this camera a little bit. I want to see the tail end of that. And so we really can't. Do you have the other radar where we can see the tail end so I can see what the mayor is going to be up against in Morgan City? Maybe let's go to the other.
Last time I looked at it, it looked like the eye wall had closed up on the bottom, on the south side.
Right.
So that means you're gonna get some weather on the south side too.
Yeah, Jay, hold my shot on this one. I wanted to right here. Let's see, hold that one. Yeah. So let's see what you're going to be looking at on that. Oh, it looks like that. It really looks like the west side held together pretty good. So you're going to get punched in the front and maybe punched in the back a little bit.
Yeah,
but
punched in the front and kicked in the back.
Well, there you go. That's even better.
Yeah.
Definitely a bi-parish landfall is going to happen.
Yes. because it's that entire Iowa as it covers all of those different areas. All those cities we just mentioned are all being impacted as it is starting to move on land here. And again, they're going to say that it's some 40 or 50 miles away still, but that's only because that's where the last identified high was. But these are some big bands here with 90-mile-an-hour winds in them.
And Galliana's going to give us a pretty decent shot on the tail end of that whip. But let's look at Grand Isle right now. Jay, can you pull up Grand Isle? Let's look at Cocodrie. Go back to Cocodrie, Jay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's coming in Cocodrie pretty good.
That's significant white caps. That wind's blowing.
Jay, can y'all move the camera? We got access there. Let's move it. And let's, it's coming pretty good right there.
Yeah, normally you could see much farther from this shot, but you can't now because of the rain.
Right.
And you can see how that driving rain is coming in right there at the lock.
Keep panning right, Jay. Just a little bit. Let's take a look at it from the. Okay. But that's what I want to see. I want to see I want to gauge it. So can you pan? It won't move. It's freezing up.
You know what? That camera's tired too.
Yeah.
It's been filming and
it's worn out.
Wind. Okay.
It's moving slow.
Yeah. Exactly. It's moving like we are right now.
Yeah, really. Just hold it right there, Jay. That'll be good. Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the parking lot behind the floodgates now has water. All right. All right. And who's on the line, Jay? All right. Let's go back to. I want to see the Grand Isle shot.
Yeah.
And then
we'll check that before the call.
Let's zoom in on that beach a little bit because surf's up in Grand Isle. HTV, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Martin?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, this is Michael Bourgeois. Y'all keep talking about Morgan City and Houma there. But it looks like it's coming right straight up the middle, huh? Between them two.
That's what it looks like. It looks like it's going to split. It looks like it's going to split St. Mary and Terrebonne Parish.
Well, that's where I'm calling from. The stepchild of Terrebonne Parish right here, Gibson.
Okay.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, look, y'all been getting. Look, we talked a lot about those rains because y'all been getting. Y'all got hammered by the rains before, and you know we've always asked these people that do the graphics on these radio. Even I can remember way back why they don't list everybody, but I can't figure out why they don't.
I think at one time Gibson was on there, but it looked like they took it off.
Yeah.
Well, they do what they want. I mean, we saw that over the years. We've seen different things, and then we don't see them anymore. So,
well, we certainly know where you are. Can you tell us what you're feeling, what you're experiencing right now?
45, 50, maybe 55.
Okay.
And higher gusts, and it was raining kind of heavy, but it slacked off a little bit. It looked like it's getting ready to come back.
Yeah, and that band's about to get into Houma proper.
Yeah.
And so we're about to start hearing it on the roof here, but certainly, yeah. And y'all been experiencing a lot of. Not only do y'all get the water coming from Lafourche and everywhere else that drains in it, but y'all get the rain, the 13 inches of rain that came prior.
It all comes down to Bayou Black.
Yep, for sure.
Yep.
So you hunkered down. You sound like you've been through a few of these.
Oh, quite a few. I just turned 72 yesterday.
Oh, okay. Well, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you. I've been I've experienced quite a few. I'm born and raised here.
All right. Well, trust me, no, we love Gibson too. We're going to keep trying to get it on. I wish they could get y'all on the graphics. We don't do all those graphics. That's the companies that have the radars and everything else. But we've asked them over the years. Me and Jimmy DeGay used to ask them repeatedly why they couldn't put all the areas, and we get a bunch of humbug. But you know how it is.
Yeah.
Keep us posted, okay?
Came back on. Y'all keep freezing over here.
Yeah. Keep it. Yeah.
I keep losing though.
Okay.
Keep us posted, okay?
Hang tight.
All right.
Thank you. Have Dwayne swing around the other way if y'all can, Sean. Talk to him and have him swing around, pointing the other way. You know, he's pointing east. Have him point west. And let's come back to the satellite if we can here, and that way we can. Well, let's go back to the other one, Jay, where we can actually see the parts of the pay. Yeah, because I think we're going to see some activity soon right here at the station.
We should feel it. That's right at the top of that band.
Yeah, we're on that yellow part of that band. What's it look like outside right now, Jay? That's the only thing. Being on the news desk and being in the field, I used to be in the field, you could feel everything out.
Right.
Now you
can see it, hear it, feel it.
Yeah, getting a little blustery. So I think if let's just pull out a little bit on that shot, we'll be able to see the trees. And then thinking a little bit, that'll be good. And then we'll be able to watch the tree lines. Let's look at the Barrow Street side, and we'll be able to see the oaks. And let's turn that camera all the way around to where we can see St. Matthew's oak trees. I remember we had this shot fired, and I watched the whole front awning and HTV fly over.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It flew up.
So we'll just keep an eye. That'll be a pretty good shot right there, Jay. Right there. Let's lock it right there. And that'll give us an idea when that band comes in. Yeah, look at the intracoastal.
Like the water moving in there.
Look at the water down Main Street.
Yeah, look how that, again, just blowing that water on the street. You can tell the winds picked up significantly.
Look at the winds on the intracoastal canal.
Yeah, white caps on the intercoastal.
Like they're blowing west to east, huh, Dwayne? I mean, east to west.
Yes.
Yeah, coming pretty good.
Yeah, I'm facing southwest right now.
Yeah. All right. Yep, there it comes. Let's go to HTV. Hearing it coming down pretty good on this particular camera. Yeah, hold that shot, Dwayne. That'll be a good shot. That'll tell us what the winds are doing.
A little bit of the bushes off to the side here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dwayne.
All right, Jay, what are we looking at in Morgan City?
Whole lot of shaking going on.
Yeah, a whole lot of shaking on that camera. But rocking and rolling. How's Cocodrie and all those areas look? Limcon. Okay.
Still got seagulls flying against the window.
Really?
Yeah. There's a couple of them right there. Not moving, but they're flying.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, we got the call coming in. Let me. As we look at some of these shots, we're just going to move around and see. Todd Fungy sent another. Let me see what he sent me just now.
Anybody want to add a little bit to it? The newsstand. Animals are doing fine. They all woken up.
All right, these. Let me look at some in Morgan City.
All right. And
Somebody
again,
sent me a video.
It's a shot of the intercoastal here.
Did we have a tornado in Morgan City?
Thank you.
Let me send you a video. Like I said, I don't know if this is confirmed or AI or whatever. Let Sean look at this and tell me if he recognizes this. Let me send it to, okay, just send it to Jay, Sean. Look at it on Jay's phone, and then check that out and see if that's authentic or not. And ask, maybe call the mayor and ask him if he has a confirmed tornado in St. Mary Parish, in Morgan City. Let me look at it, Keith, while we check this out.
Yeah.
Jay, what are we looking like in downtown Houma right now?
So we can certainly hear the winds have picked up and the rain.
Yeah,
wow, there you
hold
go.
that shot, Jay. Hold that shot.
Wow.
That's the rain coming down, sweeping.
That is at least tropical storm winds right there, at least.
No doubt. All right, so we are in the, go to that bigger shot where we can see the rain bands. Jay, split the screen with this shot. That way I can sort of see where that banding is taking place. Because I imagine Dulac's going through a lot of this. And we'll check it all out. But I want to be able to, there you go. But it's on the wrong side. I want to see the right side of that eye wall. If you could move that over a little bit so we can see the right side. You see, there you go, like that, slide it over. And can you zoom in on that a little bit, Jay, so we can see the actual areas? You're going to have to play around with it and maneuver it a little bit. Go ahead, Sean. I know you're giving me information. So it's a fake. Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, we're not gonna run it. Thank you. That's why we confirm.
Yep.
All right, look at Dulac is fixing to. They're still in it.
They're in
fixing to come out of. I'm curious that inner wall they're about to get into. If it's going to start rocking and rolling in Dulac.
Right. If it gets worse from where they are right now. We know that they're getting
normally turbulent.
Yeah. And so we're in the tip of that.
Right.
Swaying.
So Cocodrie, there you go.
And Todd is down in Pointe-a-Chat.
Mm-hmm. But he would just show me some other different thing. Let's see. I'm just looking at messages. Just lost electricity in Bayou Black is what I'm being told. I'm going through my messages, just seeing what I could bring you. Anybody with the parish who can confirm that, please give us a call as we continue to bring it to you. Let me look at some more video here in dry air.
And these are shots down in Cocodrie. As you can see, the water pulling over a parking lot, and then that truck is actually parked in the street.
Yeah. I think this is going to be the worst wall. It's right here.
Yep. We're experiencing it now.
I have a layer of blown rain right now that's coming across that water like crazy.
Where's that at? What you saying, Dwayne?
There's a level of rain blowing across the top of the water. It's intense right now.
Yeah, let's hold that shot. That's a good shot.
Wow.
It's blowing me around now.
Yeah. Hold that shot right there. That shows you right on the intracoastal, wind whipping from really east to west. And I could hear it on top of HTV too. Let's show Main Street, Jay, if we can. And look, if we lose power, folks, we're going to generate up and get right back on and boot everything up. So if we lose power, we're going to be up shortly. Generator will kick on. But we are going to be up and running, hopefully in no time. That's the storm chasers, huh? Yeah, that might be the storm chasers.
I'm getting pushed around over here.
Let's go to Dwayne. Go to Dwayne.
Got me rocking for a minute here.
Okay. You're right in the inner core of the eye wall, Dwayne. On the eastern side.
Right.
You see those little vortexes, kind of those spin-offs? That's where you're at. It's almost like you're in a training. You're in a training mode.
Okay.
Those little trailers.
Yeah, they're trailing right behind each other. Yeah, he's coming. It's coming pretty good.
That's blowing.
Go back to Cocodrie, Jay. And then, do you have Lumcon too? Is that still up? Lumcon went down?
Oh,
Cocodrie went down?
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I knew it was about a time there.
So we often lose our feeds as much as we want to try.
Let me get Gordy on the line too. He's calling. Hey, Gordy, I'm sitting on the news desk. You want me to put you live on my phone? Okay, good. Yeah, we're in the inner eye wall right now, Gordy. We're in the inner eastern eye wall right here in Houma right now.
Ooh, that was nice and shaky.
That's Mother Nature's fury right there.
It's more rain this wind.
Yeah, it looks like the wind subsided, but you're getting a lot of rain now. You're in that section that's going to train and drop a lot of rain in a short period of time. That's why we got to hope this thing gets out of here, because you could have some flash flooding real quick.
And so you can tell how heavy the winds were for Dwayne right there at the intercoastal. And now, as Martin mentioned, heavy rain coming down. That's when we get several inches at one time. And again, very dangerous for flash flooding. And that's that flash flooding warning. Sorry, I apologize. It was not a tornado warning. That's flash flooding warning coming in with these heavy rains, as we can see this eye wall and as it's trailing off. Looking again, what we didn't see before, Martin, we could see all these greens and reds and yellows at the very bottom, coming just south of Chauvin.
Well, that's what I was saying. Those spin-offs they're inside of the eye.
Right.
And they're almost like bands.
Yes.
And they're pretty violent.
Yeah.
Look.
That looks very violent. Feels that way, huh, Dwayne?
I'm getting a little shaken right now.
Yep.
Yep. Gonna have branches fall out of the palm trees.
Now, as long as the tree don't fall.
Yeah.
What's that, Jay?
I'm far enough back.
They lost a stream in Morgan City? Okay. So we have no more shot of Morgan City. Okay. Downtown Houma.
Wow.
Oh, it's coming. I could hear it.
Oh, man.
It is. Yep. It is rocking and rolling, folks. Move that flash flood warning, Jay, so I could see and zoom in on that map so we can see really what's happening in Houma. We're about on that inner eye wall in Terrebonne in Houma. So we have is that a tornado warning?
No, that's a flash flood.
Flash flood warning.
That was a flash flood warning.
Where's the Houma graphic at? I can't see that far.
So, right underneath. So it's the very bottom there. So it's,
Jay, pan down a little bit, Jay. Okay, I see it. I got it.
So some orange and amber right there. It's much darker colors.
Look at downtown Houma. It is coming down, folks. Okay, that's the eastern, northeastern, and eastern side of the eye wall where the rain is concentrated. It is blowing and going right now. It's coming down over there, right on the intracoastal. And north of the intracoastal is where Dwayne is at.
Every so often, it's like somebody grabbing the roof rails of the truck and rocking it.
Truck is rocking a little bit, huh?
Okay. You want to move in towards the driveway?
To get out of the weather, or do you want another shot?
No, I'm just...
good where I'm at.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right, good.
And again, we're talking to Dwayne out on location, and now we have Morgan City back up. As you can see, one of those police vehicles there, just making sure they're doing well right there on Front Street.
Yeah, this is the heaviest I've seen yet.
Okay, go to Dwayne real quick. You said that's the heaviest you see. Yeah, it's coming.
Wow.
He's in a band. He's in a big rain band.
Yep.
Let me look and I want to see exactly. Yeah, Dwayne, welcome to the northeast quadrant of a Category 2.
Yeah. Which compared to what I saw during Ida, this is nothing.
Yeah, no. Ida was a monster.
That was a 5.
I mean, we've all seen Ida. This is not an Ida, but it's a good hurricane.
It's impressive.
And no. If we were having the same scenario at Ida, you would not be deployed in that position.
Nope.
No. Remember the sheriff brought us in early in the morning that day.
Yep, that's right. All right, so we are, Duloc is right on that.
Right on the
inner
edge,
eye wall.
That inner eye wall, as you keep mentioning.
Jay, let's check. Galleon is really not in that mix right now for that heavy stuff. Cocodrie.
Looks like the winds have slowed a little bit.
Yeah.
Based on those gusts.
Look at the debris coming up.
Yeah, look at right.
Jay, y'all check out Facebook, YouTube. It's going to be our only means of getting to some people who are out with TV. Looks good?
Still have you on the house.
Oh, good. And so the HTV app, you can do it from any smart device. They're watching us all over in New Orleans, Morgan City. They're watching over in Florida.
In Florida, we had Ohio, we had Texas, we had Oklahoma.
Dallas, and Houston, both of those. All concerned. And we're going to bring you every bit of this as we can with this live continuing coverage here at HTV.
Jay, as you pull out on that shot a little bit, I want to see with that eye. The thing's moving northeast, but it sure is taking its time in getting that eye wall past, so it's training. So that's what tells me it's no longer moving really northeast, or else we'd have been in the eye already.
Correct.
Look at it, it jogs to the west.
Almost going a little more north.
Yeah.
Right.
It goes a little more north.
Another rain blaster out.
What's that?
I'm getting another blast of rain now.
Yeah, go to Dwayne. Look at it. There you go. Yeah, it's moving north, Dwayne, so you're in the train for sure.
Yep.
We're getting whipped with a tail right now.
And we can hear it. We can hear the wind.
I could hear it on the roof. It's hitting us in a different direction, and it's noisier right above our head. And this is
strange.
Weird. It's a strange,
very strange,
schizophrenic.
Yep.
Don't date Francine.
No.
I apologize to anybody named Francine out there. Who's that, Jay? Hold a minute.
Kevin Claymore.
We got the mayor of Thibodeau, Kevin Claymore. Kevin, how are you doing? You there, Mayor?
I am here, Martin. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, good to see. Me and Keith Whiteside are sitting here in the studio, and we're still getting whipped by a little tail in the, it was supposed to be the eye, but you're getting hit pretty good in Thibodeau right now.
Yeah, it's hammering us right here. We got sideways rain, and the wind is pretty bad. Looks like we're going to have the whole city is almost basically out of power. So it looks like we might have some flooding later on. You know, that's going to happen within the next hour or two, because we've already had a couple of people contact us about water where it's never had water before. So soon as we can get out and be safe ourselves, we're going to get out on the road and just assess, what we need to do to handle the issues that pop up.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this is as we're looking at some show. Where are we here, Jay? Just to tell the mayor. By Walmart, we're showing some shots. We're looking at really what should be an eye, and we're getting whipped by some little spin-off tail things inside of the eye. And I know there's a name for them, and I'm not a meteorologist, so I'm not going to try to name them, but I've heard of them, but I've never witnessed them. And so once that eye wall gets past you, don't expect you're going to see sunshine, because you're going to get whipped by these almost little vortexes that are spinning off on the inside of the eye wall, and it's a weird little thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Kevin. Go ahead, Kev.
I think that's what's happening right now, because every now and then that wind just shifts, and you can see it kind of swirling as it flies by you. You know.
Yeah, you got one right on you, because it just left us, and it's right in between Gray and Thibodeau right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna say like Archie. I can't wait for the explanation when the Hurricane Center comes back and figures out what went on. I can't wait, because this one sure caught us by surprise within the last hour or so. I thought, we all knew Cat 2 is 100-mile-an-hour storm winds, but we didn't expect this kind of rain and wind. So. I want that explanation myself. I wasn't expecting this one, to be honest with you.
How much rain do you think you got in Thibodeau proper?
Like you said, I'm not a meteorologist either. I'm thinking maybe 4.5, 5 inches so far.
Yeah, that would sound about right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would think so. That's on the high end of it.
Wow. It's I'm getting a report. My brother said he saw a report that said the wall was trying to tighten up and reform a little bit, and that is what we are experiencing with the tail. And okay, so then he said, "Don't quote me on that." So,
yeah, some of the other stations have kind of reported that as well, Kevin. Just so you know that initially the storm, as it came in, it changed a little bit, and they said that the eye came in and bounced to the west, and it's now bouncing a little bit more to the east, which is exactly where both of us are. And so we may continue to experience this a little bit longer. Man, this has lasted quite a while, and it's still impacting us. It's still impacting you guys. And when you get into the eye wall, it just doesn't stop. It just kind of keeps going.
Yeah. I just told, we're here in our EOC right now. I just told our emergency preparedness director and our PIO that, I think we caught the absolute worst of this one. I think it popped right over the top of western Terrebonne and right on top of Thibodeau. I think it hit the northern part of La Bouche. So I think we were in the worst spot possible that we.
Y'all got the same quarter. Yeah, y'all got the same quarter we got, and it was nasty.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. So, we're holding on. Hopefully, I tell you what, our residents did an outstanding job of heeding to the curfew. I know you guys did the same. So they listened to us, and they actually obeyed the curfew laws. So hopefully they stay when all this classes. They don't get out and kind of rubberneck and try to see what's going on. Or hopefully they give us the emergency vehicles, the fire department, the police. Hopefully they give us time to hit the road, to assess what's going on without having to worry about any other traffic or anybody else on the road. And then we go from there. That's all you can do.
We have Brendan Mathern, captain over there in Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Department. How are you doing today, sir?
Well, been doing better, Martin. I always hate to see and hate to talk under these circumstances, but always enjoy doing my job, keeping the public informed. And this has been a tough one. It certainly wasn't as bad as our last one, but I saw that y'all had some pictures and we're talking to officials in Thibodaux, and it seems like we've got just about the same amount of impact here in the central part of the parish. We're still on the edge of that eye wall. We are starting to see it slow down a little bit as the eye approaches, but it looks like the eye is going to pass right over the central part of the parish and Thibodaux.
Yeah, y'all are getting whacked just like we did, and we mentioned that a while ago. I told Keith, I said I bet LaRose and Raceland and Galliana is just about a little bit out of it, but I'm going to be honest with a lot of people. This one was worse than I thought it would be on the northeastern quadrant.
Yeah, and it's been tougher in recent years. Really we've seen that northeastern side has always been the worst part of the storm in a lot of cases, certainly around the eye wall, and sometimes the back part of the eye wall is very significant. But you're right. I think in recent years we've been seeing more and more that northeast section being one of the worst sections, and that's the section that we got right here in Lafourche. I'm sure y'all experienced it in Terrebonne. Came right over Terrebonne, right over central and northern Lafourche Parish. In the next hour or so, probably as the eye passes over and people are able to get out and survey the damage, we'll have a better idea of things that are happening around the parish. According to Energy's website, it looks like we have about 24,000 people without power at this time. Probably that number may go up. We're going to be looking at it, but that's all part of the reason that we put that curfew into effect, Martin. Certainly we wanted people off the roads during this time for obvious reasons, but as nightfall comes, we don't want people trying to drive around with all the electricity out. So certainly if you have power still in Lafourche Parish, count yourself lucky at this point. And moving forward, we'll see if the rest of the impacts of the storm impacts any more power.
Yeah, let's tell Jason, go to Dwayne's shot, please, because he's showing damage. Yeah, we got debris. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, Cap, let us just maybe we'll touch base in the aftermath, give us an update, but I know you got a lot to do, but thank you so much for what you're doing.
You got it, guys. Happy to talk with you. We'll definitely keep you posted in the coming hours and days for sure.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Ron.
Bye-bye. And we're going to go to Miss Angela Hidalgo. And Angela, looks like kind of surge it looked like we have so far.
Well, Martin, right now we're seeing 7.5 feet at the Bubba Dove floodgate, and maximum winds right there are about 77 miles an hour.
Okay.
I have at Bayou Terrebonne, that's my highest surge as of now, is at 8.78, right at that floodgate. I don't have a wind gauge.
You said you have 70. What was on your floodgates? What was the highest wind you recorded on the floodgate?
Bubba Dove has 64 miles an hour.
Okay.
And I want to say Bayou Terrebonne was around 77 miles an hour.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
And I know we had close to 100 in Houma, so.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah.
Let me look at Bush Canal. I think Bush Canal has some wind on it. Bush Canal is 72 miles an hour. And that's 8.3 feet. So it's holding back about 8 feet at Bush Canal.
It's wrapping around close to y'all too. Got a lot of energy in this storm. I give it a lot more credit now that I've seen it. So obviously it was still intensifying. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad it didn't have a lot of time and it had a lot of shear earlier in the Gulf, because if not, we might be looking at a 3.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, look, you guys sit tight. Hopefully the winds will start to calm down a little bit. We're seeing this thing still moving north around 17 miles an hour or northeast, and hopefully it'll start moving away from you. But y'all stay hunkered down, okay?
Okay, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
HTV, you're on the air. Go ahead, please. Hello. Are you there? All right, we'll try another one. HTV, you're on the air. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Kenny Dupre. I'm calling from College Station, Texas.
College Station, Texas A&M?
Yep, Texas A&M. That's right. How you doing, Keith? Man, I hadn't talked to you in a while.
It's been a while.
Is this the one and only Kenny?
It is.
Is it? I'll be dogged. Is this the same one I know from way back in Houma? Did he move to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I have moved around. I hadn't lived in Houma, gosh, since 1985 or so.
Wow.
Good times.
I come on back to visit as long as I can, as often as I can. Now,
Yeah.
now hey, I'm going to keep it short because I know that you got guys and y'all are doing really important stuff. But I wanted to really commend you. I've been watching you the whole day. I have a third monitor that's on my desk, and it's been on HTV. And your coverage just beats the pants off of the Weather Channel.
Wow.
Oh, well, thank you. We
That's a
appreciate
huge compliment.
that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you beat them with a stick.
I can only do that metaphorically. Martin can do that physically.
We appreciate you saying that. No, that means a lot. We don't have all of the fancy gadgets that they have normally. We're not rich like some of them stations, but we try to use gadgets that are simple, you know.
No, it's great seeing your mobile unit going out there, because I've been to all those places. You know, I grew up and went down there to fish or went down there to do something else, and it's great seeing all that stuff again. But man, my hearts go out to you. My family's hearts go out to you. Our prayers are with you. I hope it keeps moving through really quick and the damage is minimal. But just wanted to say, hey guys, you're doing a great job.
We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Okay.
You're welcome.
Right.
Take care.
God bless. Good luck, A&M.
Thank you. What's that, Jay?
Wow.
10-foot, 10.30 reading at the Bayou sector floodgate. Bayou Terrebonne sector floodgate.
Wow.
10-foot reading.
And that's just 10 minutes ago.
Can we get Tony Alfred on the line? That's bigger than Rita.
Yeah.
We're 10 foot. Hurricane Rita. You know, I want to see if this is an actual
an accurate
true reading.
Right. Yeah, and that's one of those things. One of the things that matters a great deal to us here at HTV, we want to vet all of the information that we provide to you. So when we get that kind of information, we're certainly going to share it.
Hey, look, listen to the wind outside.
Yeah. You can hear it?
No, listen.
Oh, it's going down.
Yeah,
I was about to say, if you can hear it, that's why.
We're out of that eye wall.
That eye wall has finally moved off of us. And soon we'll be moving off of Berg and Chauvin. Soon to be. You're exactly right. We can't even hear it.
Look, it's still blustery, but
but I mean,
it's not like it was 60 seconds
It's not
ago.
85 and 90 miles an hour like you were experiencing.
Now we're in the eye wall. We're in the eye.
Thank God.
Over there in Montague, I think that's from the bayou, that rainwater, that you just kind of stuck with some of that rainwater to kind of filling the bayou up. So it's not coming over. It's just coming from the bayou. Any places, the low spots that you got a little.
Is that around Chauvin Brothers and all? Where would that be at? No, you said Montague.
Downtown.
Oh, you said Montague. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think it's probably from the rainwaters we had that inundated?
That's right.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So in case anybody's asking, that's what it seems to be.
Okay. So, but I know me and you talked and we said plan for a 10 because we didn't know. So there's the 10, right?
Oh yeah, man. Look, and this thing's been so unpredictable. And I need to tell you, you know, the way the wind's been shifting back and forth, it's just it's totally unpredictable. You know, we only have, thank goodness, we only have about a 4 foot outside of Dularge. You know, it's just.
They should have named this one Sybil.
Depending on where it's at.
They should have named this one Sybil.
Right. There's a dramatic difference in the water heights outside the floodgates, depending on where they're at.
Once again, nobody named Sybil call me and get mad. It's a joke. You know, I mean, look, this thing has been unbelievable. I mean, we thought we were getting in the eye. We thought we were getting in the eye, and we were actually getting in the eye wall.
Yes.
We stayed in the eye wall. We're just getting out of the eye wall in Houma.
Right. Yep. We're still kind of looking at that backside. I don't think it's going to be, I think it's going to blow. I think the backside should blow some water out is what I think is going to happen. So, that will, I think that'll be a good thing.
I wonder if that could have been a classic eye replacement, where the eye's trying to replace another eye.
Yeah, me.
I'm going to find out, because I've never seen that. I've been covering storms for 40 years, as you know, and I've never seen that happen on one of them that we've covered.
You saw how wide that eye was on one station. They were talking like 90-something miles wide. The eye.
Well, here's the thing.
90-something miles wide.
I think this is the problem. It might have been on the outside, but the inside one was more like 40. So I don't know if the inside one was pushing the outside one to replace it, but I'm going to find out. This is an educational thing for me. Like I said, I'm not a weatherman, I'm not a meteorologist, but I want to learn from it.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But it packed a punch. Now officially, we are in the eye.
Yeah. Well, I went through a little panic attack there for a while when we jumped up to 10-something at Humboldt. But I think
I'm glad I didn't call you then.
At this point.
I'm glad I didn't call you then, right?
Oh, well, they did, and that's when I'm glad you didn't call me. Yes, yeah, for sure. Oh yeah.
Well, hang in there. We'll do some progress reports when daylight comes back, but I'm sure we're going to ride this out and get it past our viewing audience and give this crew a little break here. But we're going to know at daylight what we have, right?
Yeah, we got this.
All right,
buddy.
Appreciate you, Tony.
Thanks, Tony. We have the parish president of Terrebonne Parish live on the air right now, Mr. Jason Badron. Parish president, how you doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing all right. We just researching a lot of reports that we're getting in for different things and getting a better understanding of what's going on with the weather.
Yeah, this has been a crazy one, but we were thinking we were having some little tail ends on the eye wall, but in all essence, I really truly believe at the end of the day, Houma was in that eastern eye wall for a long, long time. It was an anomaly that I've not seen in many, many years, but I'm going to research and find out exactly what happened. But what's your assessment on winds? We had some pretty good winds in the parish.
Yeah, I know we were up to 80, 90 gusts at the EOC. I know some reports 100 miles an hour in some other areas, and just hearing things about roofs blowing off and trees down. So we're checking it out. One of the things we talked with the Weather Center was about the eye seemed to get bigger as it was coming through, but that some of the radars, or a lot of the radars, being blocked due to the storm. And so as we're pulling up some other radar options, seeing that we'll probably have 2 to 3 more hours of some of this. So kind of trying to validate some of that right now.
Yeah, that's what we think. We're thinking that the little space that was in between Houma and La Rose that we thought was like 2 little tails was actually the eastern eye wall. We just couldn't see it, but we were in it because it was. I went stick my head out the front door at HTV, and it was coming hard. I said, "Oh no, something ain't right." I think we were really in that eastern eye wall for a long, long time. We had some 10-foot surges here in the parish.
Yes, sir. We had 10 foot at Humboldt Canal, 10-2, and then a lot of the other levees had 7 foot up against them.
Yeah,
so
wow.
Every bit of that 5 to 10.
What's y'all plan, Jason, as far as, I know it's probably a little early, y'all going to assess things, but do you assess tonight or do you start in the daylight hours? How do y'all operate that?
We're going to, kind of as this wind starts to die down here, next hour or so, we're going to try to figure out, we want to get out as much as we can, as fast as we can, depending on how many trees are down. So we're going to kind of judge that and kind of see how far we can maybe get out and about with law enforcement and then kind of go from there.
All right, it's getting heavy.
Yeah, it was coming pretty good for a while, but as far as electricity and all, any idea how widespread that is as far as the city power?
City power is completely out. We understand some of the roof of the old power plant blew into some substations, and I think that's where it kind of begins. Past that, I've heard different numbers, anywhere from 25 to 30,000 energy customers without power, and we don't have a confirmed number with Sleeker yet.
Wow. So they said part of the roof may have blown off at the old electrical plant?
Yeah, it might have been 20 pieces of tin, but I understand it blew right into the substation, so it's kind of the first thing I know we're going to look at as soon as we get an opportunity to do that safely.
I got you. We're rolling in some footage that I know Dwayne Dupree gathered. We do have some damage around the parish. How, the magnitude of it, I certainly cannot say at this time. He was coming through the tunnel right here. You'll see something fly and hit the corner of the car right here. There you go. So it's dangerous. That's why people shouldn't be driving around, right?
Yeah, we don't want people on the road. As everything we're seeing, the radar is very deceiving. And actually just sent you a link to something we're using and looking at that's showing us a little more data. So if you want to check that out and share that. But it's definitely, we've been told by the National Weather Service another 1 to 2 hours of this weather.
Yeah, I took a little break because I went to the building next door to check on it, and it's still blowing pretty good. So we just got to hang in. Keith, any questions for the parish president?
No, he's answered everything I was thinking of. Just really glad that you guys, I know over at DOC, there's great communication, and we appreciate all of that as well. Such good communication with the leadership about how things are going.
And as soon as we have more data, we're going to share it out. We're already having conversations about pods and maybe some mills and where to put some of that stuff tomorrow once we have a better understanding of how much damage we have. So we're going to get right into recovery and restoring. And again, the more people that are out and about on the roads, the slower it's going to slow down some of that progress. So we just ask you to be patient, bear with us so we can get whatever's down or in the roads repaired or removed.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Parish President, and we appreciate you joining us.
All right, keep saying prayers, and God bless everybody.
Same to you, buddy. All right, there we have it. The parish president, as we're still looking at footage from Dwayne Dupree.
And that's on the east side.
Yeah, awnings flying around, and some of these fuel stations repaired there. I'm laughing in just disbelief because you get repaired from Ida, and boom, there you go again. So it's right back at it.
The next round.
Yeah. And so there's tree limbs all over the place. Don't know about power lines in those areas, so I'm just trying to check out. I'll let you take, let's see. We have some people in Chauvin lost all cell service and Wi-Fi, still blowing 60 to 70 miles per hour. Gust 80 to 85 from straight south. Let's see, I think we a couple hours away, like the parish president said from.
Yep. And again, we're
Who's that, Jay? Cogadry camera still on. Look, still getting hammered. So there you go. That's what they were just texting me about winds in Chauvin. Who's that?
Jason.
Okay. We have the parish president back on, Jason Badger. You there, Jason?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to give an update. We just confirmed Lake Boudreaux is being blown around the Canebrake levee and Dulac and around Bobtown. So there's some water, but it's not a levee break. It is just water being blown around the levee where the levee ends in Canebrake from Boudreaux Canal.
Yeah, so no levee break.
No, sir.
Okay, good. Yeah, so we had heard that it might be some water there, but we had not heard anybody report, at least I didn't, of any levee break, but that's good to get it from the parish president. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. That's what we're here for.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So, yeah, I was hearing that, but we were trying to confirm it.
Right.
And I remember we've done that. People will call up sometimes and tell you. We had a call one time that the Bubba Dove was floating down the ship channel. And, of course,
not true.
I made one phone call.
Right.
I made two. Made one to Reggie and one to Gordon, and they said, "What?" I said, "No, that's not floating down the ship channel."
Yeah.
So anyway, but
so a lot of the calls we're getting, Martin, are about is this thing over? Can we stop? And so we feel like I think a lot of the Houma area right now is in probably the eye of this, but we're not sure what's behind
Long
us.
way.
be complete.
We have Donald Rouse on the line here, the famous Donald Rouse from Rouse's Supermarkets. Donald, how are you doing today?
All right, but I don't know how famous I am.
Oh yeah, well,
famous to us.
Yeah, you know, you're a well-known name here in the area, and I always said it. I always said it before I knew the famous Donald, I knew the famous dad. So
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You had a good legacy for sure. How you doing, Donald?
Thank you, buddy. Good. I've been watching y'all for quite a few hours, and I just wanted to touch base with you and tell you that, you know, I'm pushing 70, and I've never seen a 1 or 2 hurricane with this much power that came through Thibodeau. I've got trees in my yards down. It is stunning. What is happening?
You know, this one, we've been shaking our head on this one, and they've called it wrong before. Well, they called Ida wrong. They still have named Ida a 4 when we know it's a 5. This storm, the intensity surprised me. It really did. I thought, looking at it and the way that it was bringing in dry air and the way it was, you know, it was starting to form right before it hit. It was really getting tight. And I think that's what happened. It was accelerating right before it hit. So I think it was getting stronger.
Absolutely. I mean, go ahead, Don.
No, I was going to say, but all day long we've been hearing about it breaking down and getting weaker. And this thing surprised everybody. Evidently, instead of getting weaker, all of a sudden it got more powerful.
You kind of hear yourself saying a lot of the same things. But it's just so very nice to hear the people calling in who are so very appreciative. And we got people all over the country who are watching because they have family. And here we've got some footage from earlier, again, that the production team is showing. And so very thankful for Dwayne being out on the road, you know, doing his...
Sean and Jason in the control room.
Right. Best impression of Martin of earlier.
And Darla and Joni and Myrna had the archives and everything. So, and Moise,
right,
who was helping out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that have helped us.
Yeah, but, you know, you don't do it on your own. You do it together. And again, you know, it's just what happens in these kinds of times is when you need each other, you come together. It's called synergy. And that's what HTV is about. HTV is about synergy because we help bring the community together. And just all those people giving us information, all these people about the levee districts, all of the people on the different councilmen and women, and all of our leaders, everybody being so very thankful to you and our team and what we do, and appreciative for them and what they do. So, but yeah, I mean, you get a little tired after a while. I know it's hard for people to believe. Even I get tired of hearing my own voice. I've been accused of not.
All right. Well, we'll leave it on that funny note there, and then we will be around tomorrow. What's that, Jay? Oh, they actually had it. Roll it. Can you roll it?
Show it again, Jay. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. You said a pink sunset. I don't know if I've ever seen that either.
I don't know if I have. Certainly not here.
Thank you for letting me join you today as we assess some of the impacts from Hurricane Francine. What we've seen here in Terrebonne Parish is really the result of a lot of investment from the local community and the state of Louisiana in resiliency, which has really minimized the impact that we probably could have seen from this storm. Although we know that there's still people that have been impacted, and that's part of what we're doing here today is to really understand the impacts to the community. We also know that this community is still recovering from Hurricane Ida, and some of those damages that they experienced then are really causing additional problems today. And so we're going to continue to work closely with the governor, with the parish leaders here to help through the original recovery process, but also better understand what we can do today from this storm to help stabilize the community in the event that we have another hurricane, because it's still very, well, not early, but it's the middle and the peak of the hurricane season, and we know that the potential for another hurricane is likely out there. And so I just want to say thank you to the community here for sharing with me some of the concerns that they've had and the things that we can work on as an agency to help this community better recover, but also to celebrate all of the work and the investment that they have made in resilience to make this community stronger and to protect its people. It's really, really remarkable. So, Governor, with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, look, to echo what the administrator said, well, first let me recognize how much we appreciate the administrator being here. I think it speaks volumes for how much they understand the vital infrastructure that Louisiana has along its coast and what the impact of those hurricanes are. I would have loved to get through this hurricane season without any storms. And as she said earlier, we're really kind of at the peak of hurricane season as well. I think, again, what this storm shows us is gives us an opportunity to have FEMA come down here and see where there are some deficiencies in the process, where we can fix that particular bureaucracy, where we have some weak links, and then again to get the help needed for those people who were impacted by this storm as well. So to me, it's kind of like an opportunity to maybe hit a triple rather than a single here. We're hoping to take some lessons learned. We had a great meeting in there. This area has consistently stood up time and time again from one storm after another. But to echo what she said, I think it's important that we look back and we understand where we are today and where we came from. This would be a much different place had we not invested the amount of money that we have invested in this area, had CIPRA and the Corps and the federal government and the taxpayers right here in Terrebonne and in the neighboring parishes as well, not invested in understanding the need to have levee protection and hurricane protection in this area. We will continue to be committed to making sure that we can speed those projects up. It's funny, just a couple of months ago, we were breaking ground on a new infrastructure right at the Houma Navigational Canal. I was speaking to the administrator about those projects as well. And so, again, we'll be working with the local officials to make sure that those affected by this storm get the resources necessary to fully recover. With that, I'd like to give Senator Kennedy an opportunity to say a few things.
Thank you, Governor, and thanks for your leadership. Look, number one, I'm so grateful to our administrator for being here. I'm just so grateful. And I refer to her as Madam Secretary because FEMA, whether everyone in America understands it or not, every day FEMA touches their lives. And it ought to be a secretary level position, cabinet level position. So she's Madam Secretary to me. Number two, look, there's always something to be grateful for, but that's cold comfort if you had damage. I know some of our people had damage, whether it was water or wind or whatever. I don't want you to worry about Congress. Congressman Graves is here. We'll get you the money. Louisiana will get its fair share. We will chase our colleagues like they stole Christmas until we get our fair share, and I don't want you to worry about that. Number three, the governor and our administrator made a really good point. We were talking about it inside here. Imagine, and I'm not discounting the damage, but imagine what would have happened if the American taxpayer and the Terrebonne taxpayer and the Lafourche taxpayer and Louisiana taxpayers had not invested in levee protection and protecting our grid. Just imagine. I mean, the damages would be billions and billions and billions of dollars. And the thing that we're talking about, the governor brought this up, and it was very smart. And Congressman Graves is here somewhere. We were talking about it with the secretary. Louisianians need to get some credit for that in our flood insurance program. We can't afford it. Flood insurance doesn't do any good. Insurance doesn't do any good if you can't buy it. And I just don't think, I know where the secretary's heart is, I do, and it's in the right place. But we've got to get credit for what the dollars we've already invested, and the governor's going to do an inventory of this, and I just think it's a brilliant idea, and I thank him for it. And he's done a hell of a job.
How do you use the success that Terrebonne saw here from the storm to help leverage some additional federal help? What can you do to help the people here to continue the work that needs to be done? We saw one of the levees had water come right up to the top, so clearly it needs to be higher, especially to prepare for 100 years ago.
Look, I I think again, the conversations that we're having today, I think this storm brings those conversations to bear here today. I think the great work that our congressional delegation, having Senator Kennedy here leading at, are going to help us get there. Again, let me echo what Senator Kennedy said. I think he's right. I mean, we should be able to go back and look at the piles of storms that have piled up on top of us and the amount of money that we've invested in it and the improvements that we made, and we should get credit for that. And we want to work harder for that. We'll have a discussion on trying to close the gaps in the levee system here in Terrebonne. I mean, we saw some houses flood in St. Charles Parish. We haven't gotten there yet. But again, that's an area under which SIPRA has a project. And if we can just get the project done and shovel ready and the permits made, and we made that plea to the Corps during the UCG meeting. And look, I think they're doing a good job as well. We just have to lean into them and make them understand that the quicker we get these projects done, the more times that we save the federal government money, the less she has to come down here. Not that we don't like her being down here, but again, it protects property and it protects lives as well.
Can I say something? Well, you make a good point, and maybe that levy needs to be higher. I'm sorry. You make a good point, and maybe that levy does need to be higher. But my point is, what if there hadn't been a levy there at all? And that levy didn't just fall from heaven. We thank heaven for it. But taxpayers pay for that levy. And we need to get some credit for that in our flood insurance. That's all we're saying. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not fussing at our secretary here. I know where her heart is. But to some extent, her hands are tied, but there are things we can do to try to get those prices down.
Governor Landry, Hurricane Rita, we had 12,000 homes flood. Hurricane Ida, we had 3. I'm sort of curious where we are now, because we taxed ourselves in Terrebonne Parish. It seems to be working, but we're a great example. And I'm scared people are leaving Terrebonne. They're going to see Archie and everybody else, and Jason wants to keep them here. So.
Yeah, we're going to work on it. I think it's 0. Or I think it's 0. Yeah, go ahead.
Governor Landry, it's Aubrey at WSU. Thank you for being here today. What sort of state assistance, federal assistance do you anticipate for flood victims or hurricane victims coming?
Look, we have put a request into the White House this morning. The FEMA administrator knows about that particular request. We have asked for the relief that we need in this particular area. We will await that declaration. We did. I want to make sure y'all understand. We were able to get a pre-landfall declaration, which was huge, that helped us pre-position a number of those particular assets. And as we get that as those declarations come to us, we'll be putting that information out to y'all as well.
Governor, you talked about how resilient the people around in this neighboring place is, but what do you want people to say when they just didn't flooding for the last hurricane? Now we have flooding again. Are they have damage when it comes to insurance prices?
Yeah, look, again, here's what I'll tell you. We are committed. I think we were when I was Attorney General. I think the Attorney General's here as well. She's been litigating. She is litigating the FEMA Flood 2.0 litigation. We have worked this year. We passed over 26 measures that the insurance company said were necessary in order for us to lower our insurance premiums here. A big part of that package was for property owners. This storm, of course, is going to bring some dynamics to that, and of course we mentioned that to the FEMA secretary as well. But we're, again, we are a resilient people. Those storms have been, look, I said this a long time ago. This state was built by people way before there was a FEMA. Hell, it was way before there was a federal government, before any of that, and they have continued to work to make this place better. I think that what we see today is part of those, the fruits of that particular labor is part of that resiliency. Just what Martin said, to think about that 11,000 homes flooded at one time, and today we're at 0. Now again, like Senator Kennedy said, there are people out there that are hurting, and that's why she's here. And we're gonna make the means necessary to get those people the relief that they need.
FEMA was in the house. She got to ride on the choppers, got to see firsthand what a community, an area, a culture gets to do to protect themselves. Lafourche did it first. Terrebonne attacks themselves. They came by after. So much has been done. Does she get the message of what she saw today as a negative or a positive in respect, what I mean, does she see it and go, well, they got it taken care of, or these people help themselves, now we're going to help them?
You know, Lauren, this is, I think, her 5th trip down here. She came down several times after Hurricane Ida. And I think, I agree with Senator Kennedy. I think her heart's truly in the right place. But she's caught up by some of the bureaucratic red tape. So a lot of the conversations we had with her today with the governor before we came out for the press conference was really centered around the credit and how do we give credit to ourselves for the billions of dollars that we've put into hurricane protection, flood protection, both in Lafourche and Terrebonne. And if we're going to have conversations about things like risk rating 2.0 and making it unaffordable for a lot of our residents here in Lafourche and Terrebonne, we have to figure out how to give ourselves credit for that. Because look, if we wouldn't have taxed ourselves and put that billions of dollars worth into the marshlands and into our pump stations, they'd be shelling out 2 times that to try to fix it. So I think she's finally starting to get the message. I think she's finally starting to see. We had some great conversations with her and President Badgerow after about setting up a true local stakeholder committee and how it relates to some of these federal policies that we're doing and how do we get involved in that. So I'm really going to hold her to the task. We're headed up to FEMA Region 6 in Denton next week to talk about our continued efforts to fight the FEMA flood maps and how that pertains to risk rating 2.0. So we're going to continue to have those discussions with her.
So joining us right now, the Terrebonne Parish President, Mr. Jason Badgerow. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
I like your fire hat. That's pretty cool.
Fire hat?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
A little competition. The guys giving me hats and wanting me to wear them, so I got to give them equal love, you know.
So look, I mean, some interesting meetings. Before we talk about EOC yesterday, because if the FEMA lady didn't get the point yesterday, I don't know if she ever will. And Liz Morrell talked a lot about that too. But let's talk about utilities. I think right now, the number one thing I'm getting is, hey, when do you think this subdivision is going to be on? I said, well, I don't know. But I'm going to let you talk about that because I know your crew's doing a knockout job trying to get it done.
Yeah, and it's not just our crew. We brought contractors in. You know, we have all that stuff ready to go before the storm hits. And, you know, it's never going to take it's always going to take longer than you want it to. But, you know, we have to work our way from the middle of where the power plant is out. I know in one situation we turned on some utilities and had a tree limb on a lawn and it caught fire, right? So we got to make sure we don't burn houses down, that we don't put anybody's lives at risk that's working these lines. And, you know, we go through, we do an inspection just to make sure we can get in and work. You know, when you look at the process with FEMA, we have to take pictures and all that other stuff, and that's what was holding us up. We got to get clearance that says we're going to go fix it all, and then we come back and get that information and get the investigation tied up after, so that it doesn't hurt us when it comes to getting the funding. So we're able to get that done early. That probably cut the time in half, and that's why we're pushing to have everything restored.
The water that was spared in this parish, and I think you said it well at the EOC yesterday, if we don't have these walls, and I sort of told people who go about every day and they're passing on Tunnel Boulevard, they're driving on the highways and they're not seeing the water behind Terrebonne Parish. I guarantee you 60, 70, 75% of the people have no clue the amount of water that was held back. The Bayou people now. You've seen it firsthand, a tremendous 11-foot surge in Terrebonne Parish. That had to be an awesome sight.
You know, awesome is definitely interpretive, right?
I don't say awesome in the good term. I mean, awesome, right. Just, you know.
You know, it's like when we were in EOC and we're looking at the data and we're seeing 10.2, 10.3 in that area and thinking that, okay, that's good. And then we find out, you know, that was the limit of the gauge. And so we definitely had 11-foot, we went down, it was Humboldt Canal and Montague on Bayou Terrebonne. That's Montague and Bayou Terrebonne, that picture right there. Left side's outside. You can see the debris on top, and then there's a little bit of debris on the right-hand side. And that just shows you right there, that's what separates us from a community full of water. That, I mean, just that width, that height, you know, and there's some debris you can see on the left-hand side and some of that piping and all. And so, you know, when we look at the fact that kept saying 5 to 10 and we did a mandatory evacuation, that's why we did a mandatory evacuation, because in Humboldt, where Humboldt is, I think that one side's 13, the other side's 12, and there was some water coming around on the 13 side because that's kind of at a point. But when you look at the fact that it went over a little bit and it, a little bit spilled over the side, but it held. And that's the most important part, that when we talk about the system that's been built and all the work that's been done over the last 20 years, thankful for that, because we got hit with a worst case scenario. Thankful, if it's 50 miles west, you're looking at more water in Dularge. And so we got a lot of work left to do. We got to continue to raise, because Dularge, I think, is some areas 8 to 10. And move around to where our new goal is 13, right? It's really trying to make sure that if we got Ida in that same position right there, Ida hit at 18 foot on the levees in Lafourche. So just to show you from a comparison, that's saying that this was at 10 and a half, 11. Just think if we'd got 18.
I'm looking for that sheet, and I apologize. I'm looking for this sheet right here. I kept saying during a live broadcast that this storm is strengthening as it sits over Terrebonne Parish. And I really believe that it's called a brown ocean effect. And what these scientists have concluded, Ida was one of them, because when Ida got over Terrebonne Parish, it exploded. That's when I thought it became a 5. But as Francine came over Terrebonne Parish, and my crews were filming and they moved, it exploded. When I walked outside, the winds were ferocious. They call it a brown ocean effect because of the amount of rain we had prior. It was like over the ocean, they call it. The hurricane's there, and it's not sucking dry. It's not in the dry ground. It's sucking all the rainwater out, and it's intensifying. I guarantee you they're going to change this storm. Maybe a level. I don't know if they'll go that far, but this storm got stronger as it hit Terrebonne Parish.
We got 97 mile an hour winds at the EOC. A gust, not sustained. We had some strong, probably some hurricane sustained in more of northwest area, Gibson and all. So it did seem like the eye was getting bigger, or definitely getting stronger as it hung around over us when the eye walls on us. So we called the National Weather Service during, because the radar was showing it didn't look like anything was going on. And we even had some conversations that the storm was actually blocking the radar. And so we had to get some radars from other areas. And it just, it seemed like it's an hour longer than it should have been there.
That was the phenomenon that I kept talking about. I couldn't see. I also think there was two eastern eye walls, because when we put the measuring on it for the winds, the inner one was 98. The outer one was 96. When we measured inside, it was 0. And I'm going, what is this phenomena? I think because it was strengthening, it was trying to replace the old eye wall. And it's a phenomenon I never saw. So we learn from weather every day. Just like you learn every day and I learn every day. Weather teaches us something new every day, doesn't it?
Yeah, you get 15 storms, all hit the same path, and all have different results. And, that's why we try to, give some caution early on, and the mandatory evacuation. There's really a conversation about, if something happens to you, we can't get to you, and so we just want to make sure that lives are saved, and that we're going to take care of property. We'll make sure we don't have looters. We're going to make sure people can get back to it. But during that storm, again, we told everybody to prepare for that category above, and we got the category above. And, we just want to make sure that we try not to put any residents in harm.
All right, let's go to Morgan City. We have Captain John Schaff, who's been with us. You've been so good at giving us information in Morgan City. And good to see you again, and maybe an assessment of how Morgan City did.
Well, definitely, Martin. The storm had much more punch than what was expected. Morgan City, believe, experienced over 100-mile-an-hour winds according to the wind gauge in the mayor's backyard. It broke at 117 miles per hour. We received a lot more rain than what we were anticipating. Rain gauges at one of the places showed 20 inches. So a lot more rain in a short period of time, which of course caused flash flooding across the city. There was one point where Lakeside was in trouble, and thanks to efforts by the mayor and Senator Island, they were able to get pumps back there to start pumping out the water, and it probably saved a lot of houses in Lakeside. But there was some houses that did get water in there in Lakeside.
Yeah, Jason, bring up the category wind speeds, because what the captain is telling me here, is sort of what I was talking about with that brown ocean effect, where with all the saturated water, these storms can actually intensify when they come on shore. So if this thing came on as a 2, and the captain is telling us that the Chiefs wind gauge broke at 117, I'm not so sure they might not rule out a 3 at some point on this storm. We'll wait and see, of course. But did you feel like the storms were intensifying as they went over Morgan City?
Well, I could tell you this. We actually caught 2 waves of it. In the beginning, when the wind started to pick up, they were pretty heavy. I believe I was with CNN at the time, and they said they were clocking them at 50 miles an hour sustained. But there was a second point in time around 8 o'clock that night that we were going to hook up the pumps in Lakeside, and we were out and getting blown all over the place off of that Lake Pallure, where waves were rolling over the gate, and we were standing in waist full of water. It was definitely some high winds, and I believe it's much higher than what they said it was going to be.
Well, when you look at the damage, Captain, around Morgan City, and like you said, you were assessing it, I mean, I'm trying to think of, well, Andrew went right over Morgan City, and I don't know if Andrew ended up as a 4 or a 5. I know they tried to reclassify, but how does this compare to maybe like an Andrew?
Definitely not the devastation of what this area has seen during Andrew, but I believe this is more rain than what Andrew had. Andrew was probably more wind. If you pan back to the right a little bit in the street, you will see mud in there. That on the street, that's actually mud from the lake. And there's a couple places in the lakeside that we've seen that after the water was pumped out and receded. So you were definitely getting a lot of water that was being blown into this subdivision, which is pretty much surrounded by levees, and you got the Cheyne that's going to create the locks at the Cheyne or the gate that stops that backwater from coming in. But even then, from the people I've talked to that been at this police department since before my time here, said that is the highest that they've ever seen water come in Lakeside. Usually they don't flood like that, but that's probably the highest they've seen.
Because you were telling me a story on the break, which is sort of exemplary of how people act and a little bravery. Please tell that story for the audience. They'd love to hear that.
Yeah, there was a point in time whenever they were noticing waters were really rising in Lakeside to points they'd never seen before. And the mayor noticed that we had failed in one of our pumps on Walnut Drive. And they figured out that they needed to get some pumps out there so that they were going to pump the water out so that they could save all the houses in Lakeside. And so the mayor went to his yard and got 2 of his own pumps from his company and trailered them into Morgan City. And I received a call from Senator Robert Allen, who said, hey, we need some help hooking up pumps. And this is probably during the heat of the storm. So we get 5 of us from the police department to go out there with Senator Allen and Lee Dragna, his son, some people that seen the trailer coming in on Walnut Drive, jumped on the trailer to ride it to the back of Lakeside so they could help. And we get out there, we're in water that is up to our waist with 100-mile-an-hour winds, getting blown all over the place, dragging these 6 to 8 inch hoses to hook up to these pumps and get them running and pumping the water back into the Lake Pallure. And that's ultimately what saved Lakeside from flooding totally. So I just want to say that, we got some good leaders in this area, from our Senate, from our mayor, who you don't see that all the time. They get out there and willing to take that risk for the people. And I want to commend all these police officers that went out there. I want to commend a local guy who was a mechanic who got one of the pumps running to get the first one back running. And, it's just good stories like that people that are willing to take their risk to save their own community.
Yeah, and coming from somebody who we consider brave, our police forces that are always out in these elements, when you see that, doesn't that sort of tell you a little bit about somebody's core? When you see somebody jump to action in times like this, you go, all right, they got they got that little moxie with them.
Yeah, there was no questions asked whenever they called for help. So everybody jumped into action without asking any questions. You got to do what you got to do. This is the thing we signed up for. And that's how we keep everything together, to keep the community safe.
Just tell everybody, what is it like to be in those types of winds we've all been in those winds before, but that's our job. That's y'all's job. But a lot of people don't go out in those actual elements. What's that like? Describe that.
Well, I had the opportunity to meet Jim Cantori this week, and when I met him, I said, "Nice to meet you, sir, and I hope I never see you again." So I kind of understand how he feels when he's on the Weather Channel and standing in those strong winds, and it's hard to stay on your feet. And whenever you standing in water that's all the way up to your waist, and you're getting blown all over the place, and you're getting pounded with wind that with rain that feels like sand hitting your face. And it's a tough situation to be in, but you got to do what you got to do for the community.
Angela Hidalgo, the executive director of the Terrebonne Parish Levee District, is with us. Mitch Mormon, the project manager, is also here. And welcome to the program. How y'all holding up?
Doing great today.
Yeah, I bet.
Doing good, Martin.
Got
some sleep last night.
Yeah, and maybe I could speak because I've witnessed it over all the years since Juan, and I've seen the water that came in Terrebonne Parish during Hurricane Juan and all the storms thereafter, and they've all had a different little twist to them. But y'all are making my job a lot easier when it comes to sending people to cover parish flooding because levees in Terrebonne Parish. We used to send people on levees and just say, "Stay here, you're going to see it's going to flood." But we held back 11 feet of water. Is that factual?
That's right. We held back 11 feet at Bayou Terrebonne and Humboldt Canal gates. We recorded 11 feet there. It's the most we've ever recorded in any of those structures. Since I've been here, but those floodgates have been around for a while, and that area typically does see the highest water. So it proved true again for this hurricane. So
you get anointed executive director, and right off the bat, you get the highest surge in Terrebonne Parish.
Yep.
Thanks, Angela.
I hope it's not indicative of what will happen in the future for sure.
No, I understand.
She handled it, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. She did a great job, and looks like everything worked well. Mitch, you've been handling these projects, too, for a long time. What did we see? What did we witness? And what did we learn? Because I know how your brain works. You're always trying to tweak it a little better, along with Angela and everybody else.
So definitely saw water move differently during this storm than we have pretty much with all of the storms that we've had to date. It did not start off in the east and work its way west. It actually started off very high in the middle portion of Morganza and worked its way east and west. So a little different in terms of water movement. In terms of what did we learn? We learned that 12 feet is not high enough. We learned that we're not going to sleep any better knowing we have 12 feet, that we must go higher. That's we're very proud of being able to hold back what we've held back. I mean, yesterday was certainly a joyous day. All the work that we've done over the last 15 or 20 years, but the realism of it all is we've gotten a significant portion of this system up to 15 feet, and we need to go ahead and get the rest of it up. And we woke up this morning trying to do that. So,
and we're going to show a lot of footage coming up in the next two segments, but I just want to say that, Jay, did we get those categories up, that scale? Let's try to get that up, because talking with the captain in Morgan City just a while ago, he said that they had wind gauges breaking at 117 that stayed at 117. So here you have it, a Cat 2, 96 to 110, Category 3, 111 to 129. Now, I kept saying the whole broadcast, and maybe some people will listen to me, maybe they won't, but that this storm did what Ida did. It was getting strong over Terrebonne Parish. Mm-hmm. There's a brown ocean effect that scientists have been talking about, that when grounds are saturated with water, which we were, that the hurricane doesn't know the difference between the land and the sea. It's sucking up the saturated ground and it's exploding. Ida did the same thing. So it's a big thing, the brown ocean effect. if that's the case, and Morgan City's report 117, the surge that y'all are talking about, when it's all said and done, this may be reconsidered at 3. And we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But it's just out there for talk.
Sure, and it's certainly possible, but when you're talking surge, a Category 1, a tropical storm can produce significant surge.
No doubt, we've seen that.
So,
yeah,
and especially slow moving and how long the effects are having here. We've had, I don't know, probably 20 inches of rainfall in the last 2 weeks here, right? But we have a unique way of getting water out compared to most places. I mean, there's a lot of avenues to get it out. So a lot of places would be really tormented by having more rain on top of what we've already had here. But, any tropical storm, even low pressures have significant effects on us here, and people need to take precaution about that. The good thing is, we've got a pretty good system that, we just took one on the chin, and there's no doubt about it, from the wrong direction, and we came out the other side. I said yesterday that, I'm standing in Pointe-au-Chien right now, and you could literally cut your grass in Pointe-au-Chien yesterday, and I have never been able to say that in my life.
And let's start with the presentation. I want people to see what their monies went to in protecting Terrebonne Parish. So we can move to the first slide, Jay. And Storm, okay.
So we were on the air with you before the storm, kind of telling you, and these are just some examples of some emergency lifts that we did on projects that are under construction to achieve the highest elevation we could to be able to respond to the storm. And this is a levee section in Lower Dularge on the west side of that. And then there's some more pictures of other type of storm prep work that we've done in the parish.
Let's move it along, Jay, if we can.
Yeah. So this is the Lower Dularge East levee. It's the other side of that same levee where you can see the emergency material was placed, and we kind of roached it up just to get some elevation in that section too.
All right.
And then we did the same type of work in ongoing construction for Reach K. That's in Lafourche Parish, where we took the side material and stacked it up there. You can see some sandbags and some water control structures that we were able to put. And it's a good thing we did, because that saved those areas for sure.
And I'd like to give a shout out to our contractors onshore for this particular deal, working till well past midnight right before the storm to get those things in place. And it saved those structures. Water got up right to the top of the capacity of this levee system and held. So we really got a great team of people down here. And the contractors don't always get a lot of credit, but they perform when we ask
Boots
them.
on the ground.
That's right.
All right, let's, next one. Is that the next one, Jay?
This is just a picture of the system all closed for this storm. So all the floodgates and all the areas closed. It's just to show you that we closed the entire system in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yep. And then after the hurricane, of course, the day after, Mitch and I and our team went to do some damage assessments, and we took out our new drone, and we flew all over the parish and collected these images. And you'll see a lot of debris in these pictures, but you can see this is the Dularge East levee that we showed you earlier. It stood up really well. It performed well. We had no issues in Dularge, both east and west.
Okay.
Reach E is along Falgoux Canal Road, and you can see the debris line along the top of this levee, which is at 15 feet. So if you notice where the crown of the levee is and where the debris line starts, that's what this storm looks like on a 15-foot levee.
So that was up what? How many feet on that levee?
That's probably around
8.
That's probably a little above 8, with the wave action, but that's a good sight.
Picture.
I mean, you got 7 foot of freeboard right there. And I wish I had that luxury all the way around.
That's right.
One day we might.
We will.
Yeah.
We got no doubt about it. There's another 15-foot levee here, and you see plenty of freeboard. This is
How wide are those levees?
Most of them. Between 200 and 300 feet. It doesn't look like it here.
Right,
but,
that's what I'm saying, just so the people understand that.
Yeah, some wider than the others. If the soil is poor, then we have to build wider to go higher. But we try to fit it in as close as we can to the original alignments.
All right, next one, Jay.
Yeah.
Same thing here. This is 15 foot, and you can see the, and this was just recently completed while you don't see grass on it. I mean, we just did substantial completion.
Did that concern you that you didn't have grass on it?
Always. Anything under construction is your vulnerable part. But this was so high, then obviously we were able to take it, you know.
All right, next step.
So this is another 15-foot section, but it's got a lot more debris on it. You can see that. I mean, with every storm, you're going to have debris issues.
Right.
And maybe a little scouring, but that's all good things. And at the end of the day, if you can roll through the rest of these, but at the end of the day, you know, it's a success story, but it's also one that you really want to make sure you keep your eye on the ball and know that
that's a beautiful picture.
It is. It really is. What we have isn't high enough, and our structures aren't high enough, so we need to concentrate on, you know, what we need to do next. And the very next day, we're assessing damages and seeing what we can do to make it better.
What do y'all do when you have all that debris on a levee? Do you just let it decompose, or do you clean it?
If it's all natural material, we'll try to do that. You know, a lot of times we can windrow that to the flood side, and it kind of gives you a little extra buffer on the outside. But when we start getting a lot of trash and things like that, we actually have to go in there and collect that material and haul it off. So that's really where FEMA and these disaster declarations come in. It's difficult. We have some levees that are islands, and it's hard to get material on and off there, but we're used to it, unfortunately.
But it's, you know, last time I saw a lot of these levees, they had dirt on them. Now they got green, lush grass on it. And as an engineer, Mitch, how important is that for the owners to just hold that soil together?
Not only that, rainfall will destroy your levee if you don't have adequate grass growth on it. But yeah, I mean, it's super important that you establish turf, and you know, we've had the dickens of time of, you know, when we were using side cast material that's full of salt, getting grass to grow on some of these, but we haul most of our material in now. So
hopefully we can start getting the investment back, because we've saved the federal government billions.
That's right.
$2 or $3 billion when we're talking about this stuff. How much water would have been in Houma if these walls weren't there?
I don't know how much water exactly, but I could say that we might not be sitting here right now. You know, so having the levee system built in the way that we built it is the only reason that we are able to have conversations and meetings, and people are going back to work the day after the storm, and like Mitch said, cutting the grass the day after the storm. You know, we built these levees and lifts, and the reason we had 11 homes flood that year is because we weren't finished building it. So, you know, our initial goal was 10 feet. We accomplished 10 feet, and now we're going to 15 feet. And we're going to keep on going. And had we stayed at 8 feet or something like that, we would have had overtopping everywhere. This whole system would have been inundated.
And where we did overtop, Mitch, the redundant levees or the reservoirs outside them did their job?
Yeah, I mean, I think the overtopping that occurred was wave action more than actually surge. I don't think we had any. I didn't see any evidence of levees straight going underwater like we've seen many times over the past. Lots of wave action. I mean, you know, you get 8-9 foot of water. I mean, it's not still. I mean, they've got 3-4 foot waves crashing on top of that. But you know, the hard structures can handle that. You know, the big reservoirs inside can handle that. But I'd like more freeboard for sure. You know, 8 feet at Bubba Dove is by far the highest surge we've ever had at Bubba Dove. I mean, not even close to anything in the past. And, you know, including Rita and all those. I mean, we just didn't have that.
Just
kind of
real quick, got about a minute and a half left. We have a pretty good reverse head on this too, didn't we?
High rainwater on the inside, not terribly bad. I mean, we were able to go ahead and open some stuff up without, you know, fear of damaging any floodgates, but it did its job. You know, we really
That's the
did.
third reverse head I think we've had in a few years, so we learned something there for sure. I want to commend y'all for what y'all have done. It's been unbelievable to see y'all in action and to be ferocious as y'all are. And I use everywhere from pit bulls to Rottweilers to everything to describe how y'all get through this sometimes. But I think the parish owe y'all a big hug and gratitude for what y'all have done, and keep up the great work. I know it ain't over yet, but we survived another hurricane. So thank y'all very, very much.
Well, thank you. And a lot of people deserve credit.
Yes,
I mean, we
they
do work for General Patton over at the Levee District.
All right. Well, thank y'all very much. And that's going to wrap up our coverage here. We're going to keep coming to you on different things with updates and all. And we appreciate the public tuning in. We've had record numbers ourselves on the amount of people watching for this coverage. And it's good to be able to document what's happened in this parish from way back in '85, Hurricane Juan, until now. We've come a long way. We'll see you again soon. Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
All right, my name is Dean Robichaux. I'm on the committee here for the Trump Boat Parade. It kind of started with me and Brian talking in a bar one day, having a drink, and talked about having a function here to help Grand Isle. And one of the things I saw on that Facebook was the fact that Restore Grand Isle is trying to raise money to buy the old dilapidated Oleander Hotel, which has got a lot of history from the 1920s. Huey Long stayed there, and he wanted to buy it and restore it like it was before, and then make a tourist center for Grand Isle, which would attract tourists and everything during the wintertime and everything. So I thought it was a good idea. We put it together and kind of came together. And I'll let Ronnie talk more about Restore Grand Isle.
Restore Grand Isle was formed so that we could have a nonprofit that could work with the town of Grand Isle. And the Oleander is our main focus right now, because it would become a town building. We needed the tourism center. We also needed a place for people to gather. And the Oleander Hotel would fit the bill because we want to restore it. It's large enough to do the things we want to do, and is the last of its kind. At one time, they had 17 hotels on Grand Isle, and the Oleander is the only one that remains. So we're trying to get it on the historical list in Louisiana, and we want to preserve it and make it a part of the town.
Brian Bartholomew, Grand Isle Councilman. Like Dean Robichaux said earlier, me and him met up one day, and then was the enthusiasm. He wanted to do a Trump parade and to raise money for Restore Grand Isle. And with my history, we put on a few festivals in the past, Alashon Music Fest, which is very successful. And so I said, well, look, I'm gonna help you out. So we got on board, help them out, showed them what we can do to raise money. And we put the parade together. We had an awesome turnout today. We probably would have had a better turnout if it wouldn't be that storm that we had a few weeks ago with Francine, but we're happy with what we got. And today we're going to have a great turnout. We got Shorts in December playing up at 5 o'clock. We got live LSU going on right now on the TV. We got plenty of auction items. We got raffles. All these raffles are $5 a piece. And we got motorcycles. We got all kind of stuff for these people to come out and win raffle tickets. Help us raise money. Let's restore Grand Isle. Let's get this Oleander Motel back in shape. Be a beautiful fit for Grand Isle. Thank you.
I'd like to say one more thing. This whole project does not stop here today. If you want to contribute, which is a great cause, you go to restoregrandisle.com and you can make a donation for the Oleander Hotel. You'll be pushing history of Louisiana, and it's a great cause.
We appreciate everything that the people are doing. All it is volunteer work. Nobody is pushing anything. We are trying to raise money for the town of Grand Isle to have a center. And that's the purpose of Restore Grand Isle. Thank you.
Welcome back to Bayou Time. I'm Martin False. Very big news coming out of Terrebonne Parish. And let me introduce two members of the District Attorney's Office here in Terrebonne Parish. We have Dennis Alfred, the Chief of Staff over there. Dennis, good to see you. How are you?
Good to see you, Martin.
All right, we have Miss Patty Floyd, the prosecutor for the Terrebonne Parish District Attorney's Office. Patty, good to see you also.
Good to be here. Thanks.
Some big news, and talking with the District Attorney, Joe Waits, this morning, and Dennis had talked with you about this last week. We don't hear about these cases often, but they're so very important that we get them under control. And this is one of those horrific cases that I know we wanted to get y'all on to talk about because it's so important. So Dennis, this was a case brought before. How long ago before y'all got this case?
So it was relatively quick. I think it was maybe a year and a half prior to the trial date when the incident was reported. Unfortunately, this was a situation to where it had been a long-standing abuse of a minor child involving a rape and other sexual acts. To the credit of the police that investigated this, they managed to quickly move on the investigation, get it over to our office, and we were able to prosecute it relatively quickly, which is something a little bit unusual. A lot of times these things take some time, but in this situation, the process moved along very, very quickly. I think Patty has a lot to say about that because she's the one who prosecuted it.
Yeah, when I asked Ms. Floyd, when you get a case like this, of course, I guess the quicker you could get it, the safer it is for the young lady involved. But you've been with the DA's office and you've been in the court system for quite some time. How shocking was this case?
Sadly, in Terrebonne Parish, we've had quite a few first-degree rapes, and this one involved the defendant having sex with his own daughter. A little bit shocking that it took place for such a long time, and a little disheartening because this went from the time the child was 6 years old until it was reported when she was 14 years old. And the father was able to block the biological mother who had lost custody when the child was very small, probably 4 or 5 years old, about a year before the father started his sexual activity with her. So it's disheartening that this child went through this for so long because of the acts of the father, not only in the sexual abuse, but in keeping her from people who could report it for her, because obviously a little child has a difficult time doing that.
Right. And when you're going through this, there's a lot of different parts, spokes to the wheel, let's say, that have to come together before you can move forward. Takes investigators, takes a lot of different things. How well was all that coming together for you all?
Amazingly, this case was put together really well. Detective Lawrence Arsenault, who was assisted by Andrew Watson from Houma Police Department. Lawrence Arsenault is very experienced, and he jumped on this. It took the day he got the case, he went to Chalmette to speak to the biological mother who was the reporter. He came back to Houma to investigate the defendant. His actions helped get this child out of the home the same day that it was reported. So she had gone for years and years. And when she finally got the courage to tell her biological mother, who she was estranged from, and it took a leap of faith for her because she really didn't know her since she had been apart from her mother since she was probably 5 years old. And she made that leap of faith, and the mother reported to HPD, and Detective Arsenault took the bull by the horns, and that same day that child was safe, and she was away from the perpetrator. So, and in this case too, we did have a confession from the defendant, which allowed us to move much more quickly in this case. And in our sex cases, when we have a youth victim, we try to get those, if the case is together, as quickly as we can because of the youth of them. So she was 14 when she reported, 15 by the time the case got to trial. And so she's able now to try to move on with her life.
Yeah, and I imagine it's pretty tough. What courtroom was this in?
This was in Judge Bethencourt's court, and he was the sentencing judge, and he was the presiding judge. And when he sentenced the case was tried in May 6th through the 8th, I believe, and then we had post-trial motions that were heard on September the 18th of this year, and then sentencing was right after that. And in these cases, the victims are allowed, if they would like to give a statement and address the court, address the courtroom. And in this case, this 15-year-old victim came and she gave a statement before the court, which took an unbelievable amount of bravery. The defendant was in the courtroom. So she faced him, she faced the judge, and there was an audience in the courtroom. But this child was so brave. She talked about how upsetting it was and how she had younger siblings, and she felt like she had to go through with it to help protect her younger siblings. And she actually forgave her father, but she said that, she forgave him for what he did. She won't forget it, but she's strong enough, and it made her a stronger person. And she said, despite everything that he did to her, and she was addressing it to him, she's going to make something out of herself. And I fully believe that this is a strong young lady, and it moves some people in the courtroom to tears.
Yeah, real quick, who was the father? And let's give a little information for the public.
The defendant was John Carbajal, and he was 33 years old at the time that this went to trial. So he would have been, almost 30, I believe, when the sexual abuse started. He had remarried, and the child lived in the home with a stepmother and some younger siblings. And she, like a lot of sexual abuse victims, she was very protective of her younger siblings in the home.
Yeah. And Dennis, real quick, 50 seconds left. This gives some courage to people out there who may want to come forward and tell their own story.
Absolutely. It's a case that we took seriously, just like any report of these types of sexual abuses, and we'll prosecute it to the fullest. We took the ultimate charge. The defendant is going to serve life as a result of his actions in this case.
Plus 20.
And we intend plus 20 years on the additional charge. And as it pertains to any case that comes to the office such as this, we will prosecute it to the fullest and try and get the maximum result.
Welcome back to Bayou Time News. I'm Martin Falson. As you saw, I just did a story on another segment with Patty Floyd and Dennis Alford of the Terrebonne Parish DA's office on a rape case here in Terrebonne Parish. But I got to tell you right now, I have First Lieutenant Blake Tabor with the Sheriff's Department here in Terrebonne Parish. And this story we're about to talk about, in the long run, we'll give you more information as it comes out, but this is going to be a very prolific case on rape cases and other crimes here in the parish. And First Lieutenant, good to see you, first of all.
Thank you for having me, Martin. I appreciate it.
This is incredible. Looking at this press release, I'll give you the floor, but prolific may be an understatement on this.
Could very well be, and again, we don't want to attach any labels as we're, again, in our infant stages of this, but what we're seeing now and the speed in which this information is sort of culminating is extremely disturbing, maybe even to the likes of something that we haven't seen before in Terrebonne Parish. So, I'll start in with this case. Again, this sort of came to light on September 16th of this year, where our patrol division responded to a local Terrebonne address in reference to some allegations of sexual misconduct, which, again, we get that all the time here, unfortunately. But the victims were identified as some young male subjects, which, again, is not something that we typically see. So as we got there, we quickly began to determine some information, which the suspect was identified as a Wayne D. Bennett. You see him photographed here, who was described as a close family friend to the initial victims. During the course of that investigation, of course, the victims described several different locations within Terrebonne Parish, outside of Terrebonne Parish, as well as even a separate state, neighboring state to us, where these sexual allegations sort of happened. So again, anytime these cases come to light, again, we bring in the Special Victims Unit, who are our resident experts in this field. And again, they were able to determined that some of those allegations were in fact true. Again, they began a joint investigation very quickly with the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office, Louisiana State Police, and also Homeland Security investigations. And this case sort of just continued to roll on. Again, we were able to identify, we won't discuss exactly how many victims at this point, but it was north of 5 victims initially. And again, you know, some of the allegations against Mr. Bennett that were made are just something that would shock the conscience, even for a seasoned investigator.
Parish, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Just 5 that we are dealing with as the Sheriff's Office in Terrebonne Parish. Again, I won't discuss the victims in Lafourche Parish or any other neighboring jurisdictions, but there are in fact victims there as well. So again, as this culminated, we were able to quickly get arrest warrants for Mr. Bennett's arrest, and we were able to track him to an address in Florida, where we reached out to federal partners there who were quickly able to take him into custody and arrest him on our outstanding arrest warrants. So ultimately, he was taken into custody and he was extradited back to our state on the 25th of September for charges, and I'll go ahead and tell you some of these. First-degree rape, third-degree rape, trafficking of children for sexual purposes, 5 counts, indecent behavior with juvenile, 3 counts. He is currently incarcerated on a $700,000 bond, and he still remains jailed here in Terrebonne Parish. Now, the important part to point out is that this is an ongoing investigation. We initially released our information on Friday. Even since that time, we have filed some additional charges, which we're going to be giving out some additional information very shortly about that as to what those charges were. But, you know, again, this is a very fast-moving case. But another important point to point out is detectives did an interview with this particular suspect. Not only did he admit to the allegations by the initial victims, but he also provided an abundance of information to detectives, which may lead to an unknown amount of victims that may surface as a result of this.
So the number, I was just going to ask you, it seems to me it's a pattern, but if he was extradited from Florida, these numbers could be just mounting in the different parishes. So this is incredible news that you're bringing. I would assume at one point somebody might be watching this broadcast and they may come forward to you and say, I'm another victim. How can they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. And if that is in fact the case, we want them to immediately contact our sheriff's office at 985-876-2500. They can ask to speak for me personally, or they can reach out to our special victims unit. Anyone within our investigative services can direct them to the detectives they need to speak with.
I would assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we appreciate y'all bringing us to quick information, but there's going to be a lot of logistical things that you're going to be working with other agencies on, because this may be a multi-agency press conference coming at one point.
Certainly could be, you know, and again, if it gets to that point, that is our intent. Again, we're still uncovering information with this that we don't even know where the final stopping point is. We know that by his own admission, he's been doing this for over 30 years. Victimizing children for over 30 years. And, you know, we just hope that we're able to bring some closure and at least identify all of the victims in this case.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health Systems Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda.
Welcome to our celebration tonight. The
world knows him as Burning Norwood, and we all know him as Tootie.
So it's pretty impressive to have a gold medal, right? But it's really impressive to have 4 medals. And for a very humble person, right, and a great mother, right, which he says all the time too. And I meet her on the street, and I meet her at Walmart, and I meet her everywhere else, and she comes up to me and hugs me, right? So it's like having another mom too. So the city did say last night is Burning Tootie Norwood Day, and we did give these to his mom last night, but I said I need them back because I gotta frame them for you. So we heard them and got them framed really nice, and one for each of y'all to put in your homes. And they have the little key to the city on them too. And we just want to say from the city that we're very proud of you. Even though you're an old guy running with the young guys, hopefully you can keep doing it. Because I definitely can't do it, right? So we need you to represent us, right? And we want to appreciate it. And we want to tell you how much we appreciate it.
Appreciate that.
Good evening. My name is Robert Allen, and I have the distinct honor of serving you as your state senator in this district. It is also my distinct honor in presenting two, one from our governor, one from our state senate. Governor Landry cannot be with us tonight. He is dealing with some post-hurricane relief meetings. And finally, before I hand these over, I want you to know from the bottom of my heart how proud we are of you. You've made your country, your state, and your community proud, and I want to say thank you.
First, I want to thank God for allowing me to be here first. Nothing without him. Also, many of you I want to thank personally for myself to even be in this position, from all my coaches, and for my family being here, my mom, my brothers, my girlfriend as well. She looking amazing. But for me to be here, it was a numerous amount of sacrifices I had to make. One of them was losing my hair, as you see. But the support that I had from the community, y'all accepting me in, me coming from New Orleans, it's me coming to Morgan City. It was one of those things whereas I didn't want to be here. I was upset at my mom for a very long time because I wanted to go back home and be with my friends, people that I was familiar with. But, I went through a lot of trouble here, me and Judge Stansberry became great friends. The journey and everything started here in Morgan City, and I'm super proud to be Morgan City community distinguishing citizen. But like Coach Rich said, those two words, hungry and humble, something that driven me my entire life. Throughout high school, college, everything, I just stayed disciplined. I worked hard. I just stayed focused. But a lot of people might don't know this, but I always say this, my biggest achievement for myself is me graduating college. And I think people don't understand how much of a huge accomplishment that is for myself, coming from where I came from. And for me to have a degree was probably one of the biggest things that I hold down to this day. No matter the medals, no matter none of that stuff. And man, so many of y'all, just want to thank y'all for being here tonight because it's means so much to me. I told my mama and everybody I probably won't cry, but I probably will when I get home. So, there's so many people here I just want to thank. So tonight, if I left you out or anything like that, please come up to me and hug me and let me know. And, but I'm extremely thankful for all of y'all for being here tonight. Tim Heaton, you did a great job. I appreciate you. All the coaches here, Jimmy Chapman, Coach Witt, Coach Gary, Coach Benny, he's still here. I don't know if he's still here. He's one of the LSU coaches who was with me throughout my time. And thank the mayor for being here, the senator, judge, everyone for being here tonight because, y'all the one that inspired me to continue going on. You know, child support. Hopefully we can get through 2028. You know, but I have to take care of my body, do all the little things, and I'm extremely happy to be here. And I just want to let y'all know that I am, and we can celebrate the right way. And I bleed green and white. Thank you all.
Judy, we understand that you were unable to walk in your 2019 graduation ceremony at LSU due to track commitments, so we wanted to recreate that experience for you and the people who love you.
I appreciate it.
We hope Coach Shaver, who planned to be here tonight, will be able to do this, but instead, we did the next best thing. Judge Jim Stansberry.
What does tonight mean for you? Oh, God, what a great night in Morgan City.
Yes, it was. I wasn't expecting the crowd, and I would like to thank everyone that came from far and near, my family from Lafayette, my family from New Orleans, the community of Morgan City, everyone here. Thank y'all from the bottom of my heart.
What made you take that Morgan City exit?
Well, my neighbor, you know, he got tired of driving, you know, and the traffic was backed up. So we just stayed, you know.
Yeah. You were just trying to get away from Katrina.
Yes.
Got on the road, and Morgan City was the place that God made you pull into.
Yes, it was. And we had a chance to go back, but we didn't. So we just said, yeah, I asked them, I said, y'all want to go back? They said, whatever you want to do, Mom, and we stayed. Because my first concern was the safety of my children. You know, I love my city, don't get me wrong, but my safety was their concern. I don't know what would have happened if we would have went back.
Yeah. What is it like to be a mom in the stands or watching on TV whenever Vernon was running, and then all of a sudden Vernon wins a gold medal and a silver medal? What's that like as a mom?
Well, it's hard to describe because you see it on TV to other people, but when it's you, it's reality. This is real. And I know how they feel. And I know they feel me.
Yeah. And he's such a humble young man.
Yes.
And he's just so personable. And it's got to be great as a mom to see that from a son.
Yes, it is, you know, because we didn't have much, you know, coming up, and I made the best of what we had, you know. Being a single mother with 4 boys, I did the best what I could with them, you know. They never disrespected me, never gave me no trouble. I told them I love them daily. They told me they love me daily. And one day, too, he told me, he said, Mama, I got you.
And he did?
Yes, and I love all of them.
And to see some of your friends and to see some of the schoolmates that he went to school with, waiting to see him again, you know they're all proud.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. What kind of advice do you have for moms out there? And you've been through it. He said it, you said it, the video said it tonight. He was surrounded by some tough environments when he was growing up, but somehow y'all made it.
Okay, just because I always told them, just because you're in the environment, you don't have to be a part of the environment. Don't let nobody, you know, make you do nothing you don't want to do. You think for yourself.
Samantha, all the accolades that Vernon is getting, what's it like to be the girlfriend and go around with him everywhere and to see everything that's going on? And he's such a humble guy, but you can tell they love him in Morgan City.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, Vernon is so amazing, and the community, they see it, they know it. His family comes from such a great community and family, and just kind of being his partner in all of this has just been great to see how he's managed all of the success that he's had this year, and also the fame that comes with it, and just like his humility in all of it, and his focus on just bettering himself daily, like in every single way. I think that speaks to the character that he has, and I think, you know, with anybody else it might be difficult, but he makes everything so much easier. So yeah.
He has a great story coming from the inner city, where so many things seem like they could have went wrong in his life. And he said he dabbled in a few things, but he was able to pull himself out of it and be a beacon of light. Look at the young kids in line today that are just, they're going, you know, they heard it.
and you know they're going to try to live it. What a great message.
Right, right. Yeah, I think he's just such a great role model. You know, tonight I feel like the message was humility and staying humble, and I think that speaks exactly to the character that Vernon has. And just to see how he operates and how he inspires the youth and inspires the people around him, I think his leadership shows in every capacity of the person that he is.
How did you meet him?
So I used to run track. I do not run anymore, but so we have a lot of mutual friends. So during the time of the Tokyo Games, I was competing as well. So we kind of met through track and field, and a lot of mutual friends that we have. And I didn't meet one person that said anything negative or wrong or bad about Vernon. He's just such a great person, and his personality and the character that he has just like carries in every single room. So I think seeing the respect that everybody had for him, I was like, who is this Vernon? Like, I didn't know who he was. And then, you know, meeting him, he's just such a great person. And so we kind of connected and clicked very easily after.
I saw in the video, he comes across real quiet, but he's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah, Vernon's hilarious. Yeah. He's probably like, I think he can make a joke of anything. He's that type of guy. So he lightens the mood everywhere he is. And I think like you see the camaraderie and you see the team dynamic that he has with his partners and on the 4x4, and like it shows. And so he's just kind of the person to brighten every single room that he enters.
Samantha, thank you for joining us. Good luck to y'all on your journey, but what a great journey it is.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. Appreciate it. Thank you.
What a great night for you to come back and just to see the accomplishments that you have, and you're wearing them tonight. But to see the young kids that came up so impressed by the message that you have sent, what does tonight mean to you?
It means a lot. I don't have enough words to describe how tonight went. They did an extremely great job with getting everyone together. I felt extremely loved and appreciated, so I'm so thankful. You know, I'm so emotional right now. There's so many feelings that I have inside that I'm just so appreciative for the city that came together. This community did a great job representing me, and it means a lot to me. I'm extremely happy.
What was it like when you made that journey? And of course, we all know the story. Y'all turned down the Morgan City exit. You stayed in Morgan City for a while. Then you went on to college, ended up at LSU, had a great career. But when you finished those Olympics and earned those medals, describe to us how that felt.
I think coming to Morgan City was probably the best thing that happened to my life. It impacted me in so many ways. So many people here in this community impacted my life, and I'm forever grateful to them. I'm forever faithful to the city of Morgan City. Like I said, I bleed green and white, and I'm gonna forever be here. And I'm so happy to not only represent myself but represent the city of Morgan City, also New Orleans as well, and the state of Louisiana. So, you know, it means a lot, and to show that all my hard work and dedication, you know, no matter where you come from, you know, you can achieve big things if you just continue to work hard and be dedicated to your craft.
That message you sent tonight to everybody, that no matter where you come from or how tough it is growing up or who you're surrounded by, and your mom made a good point too, you can always make your own choice and get out of that and better your life.
Yes, I mean, I love my mother to death. She, you know, she did a great job raising all four of my brothers, us together. So, you know, having that understanding of like what it takes to be a man, it just takes to be a better person, better brother, better friend. You know, that's what I strive to be. Just try to be great in all aspects, to be better to people, and you know, I think that led me to where I am today. So I'm very thankful for that, and I'm still growing and still learning to be a person. I mean, to be a better person. But we all not perfect, but that's what we strive to be. Is try to be better every single day. You know, whether it's with athletics, you know, whether it's with work and every single thing. So I'm extremely proud of myself of how far I came, and you know, hopefully I can continue to keep going.
Yeah. How's your life changed since you got those medals?
It changed very, very quickly. Even coming from the last Olympics, I think each year I get a little bit of recognition from a lot of people. A lot of people starting to notice me a little bit more, but you know, the most important thing, I'm still growing as a person. I'm still learning new things. So each day I'm my life is changing, because each day I'm learning something new. So, I just want to say the Olympics changed me or anything like that, but every day I'm changing because I'm just striving to be a better person.
Morgan City proud, New Orleans proud, Louisiana proud.
Oh yeah, go Tigers, go everything.
Yeah. Congratulations, great night for you, and certainly a role model, and what a great story.
Thank you, sir, I appreciate it.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bourke, know your rights.